is a favorite to win today. I think Raichu versus ArnKratos is definitely what a lot of us are expecting to see.
That's my prediction.
Yeah, there's a lot of players that we could versus that K-Top, right? That speed. K-Top known for those high execution, high octane, high cancel characters. Just if it's tricky to play, K-Top's going to be playing it.
Now, check out the prize distribution. The monthly finals always has more money to play for. So the weekly invitationals is normally 250 for first, 150 for second. Every week, mind you, and that is separate for EU and North America. But the monthly finals, this is where every place that you have within the top 4 has a difference. So fourth and third, there's $100 in between them. So the second you get top 4, you're not going to be, I think, happy with fourth place, are you? You're going to want to get that extra 100 at least. And then who knows from there, everyone in this bracket is capable of winning this tournament. And there are some, kind of real wild cards, I think, in there. The one I think is as Jack Sprat, someone that we know the UK scene, we know he's good. Hasn't had a lot of opportunities, I think, competitively to showcase that. And being in the monthly finals in itself, this top 8, no easy task. But he's here now, and I'd love to see what he has. But funny enough, it is going to be our first matchup. But before we get into that, don't worry, we'll be starting the first match soon. If you want to play in the Open Series, don't worry, because February has Open Series action all throughout the month. So you can go to the bottom of the link right down here, compete.playstation.com. Alternatively, whether you're on YouTube or Twitch, you can scroll down on your webpage and there should be a little button that you can click, and it's as simple as that. And it is as simple as that through the PS4 system. PS4 tournament is done through the console. It is an easy process, free to enter every single week. How could you go wrong? So we'd love to see you get on board. We'd love to talk about your matches, see you on stream. And on that note, we're going to see ArnKratos and Mr. Jack Sprat. Now, ArnKratos, known by many to be the world's greatest Shang Tsung. We were talking about this in the pre-roll, though, weren't we, Mustard? We're kind of curious over what variation he's rocking, because Shang Tsung's a bit of a talking point at the moment.
There's definitely a lot on paper that you should be able to go with Shang, but the question is, which of the Shang moves are the players the most attached to? I think for Shang Tsung, he's got a lot of good moves, but you definitely can't get all of them, right? He's one of those characters that you really can't have everything. You have to really pick and choose what you see as a major preference for you in the style, because he's very versatile as Shang Tsung based on what you've got. I think the real kind of common two are either a ground eruption kind of, slower paced zoning style Shang versus the kind of, the force lift, Ermac lift kind of more, I would say jump to close range, more about kind of jump kick enforcement and general confirms and pickups into kind of, I would say more consistent damage because, you're not being limited by the corner, you're not having the same kind of, restrictions that ground eruption might give you combo-wise, and obviously it scales better. ArnKratos, I know, is definitely someone that has specialized in Shang for a while, so I think if he's got anything, anything up his sleeve, we might see it today if necessary. But Shang, can be quite consistent. On the flip side, Mr. Jack Sprat. I have mainly known Jack Sprat as a Joker player, to be honest. I know Jack Sprat is definitely, he's on Twitter a lot. He's very active on Twitter and kind of, airing his thoughts about characters he's playing or things he wants to pick up maybe. And he's always looking at playing other characters, it seems. So if I'm being honest, I'm not too sure what to expect from Jack Sprat here. I think Joker is definitely going to be the most kind of reliable, but I mean, who knows? This is the first time we've seen Jack Sprat on the Open Series, at least of all the monthly finals. But as we do load into this match, as the players are getting ready, I do want to take a brief moment to just explain what makes the monthly finals different to the weekly invitationals. And don't worry, I will give you the TLDR, but it's important to know because monthly finals is a lot more impressive. There's a lot more on the line today because it is made up specifically of top placing players through the month itself. So the weekly invitationals is you play in Monday, it's a Swiss style tournament, so different rounds, you play a handful of opponents, the best placing players make it back for Tuesday. The monthly finals is a bigger cup comprised only of people that have near enough made, close enough to the monthly finals. So this is definitely a cream of the crop end of the month style thing. So definitely a lot to play for here, as Mr. Jack Sprat is going for the Sindel. So I personally haven't seen Jack Sprat play for a while myself, but he is active in various UK invitationals, exhibitions and things like that. A big community contributor is Jack Sprat.
Now, what I'm curious about is that variation. So we see the Banshee Barrage and the Low Screamer, but then also we see the Whip and Flip. So it's going to give that kind of air game a lot of use because you've got the Banshee Barrage, which can launch. You've got the Whip and Flip as well. I'm very curious about this, and ArnKratos paying homage to the boy Foxy. Much respect. But ArnKratos, Always known for the absolute most interesting defense, I think. Like, his throw tech game, although he got hit there, is often top notch. He's very slippery. His decision making on defense is absolutely ridiculous.
But you see that reversal punish on the screen, though. That's some knowledge. Now, Sindel Shang, this isn't a matchup we're seeing for the first time here, but it's definitely one that I feel like historically it has not favored Sindel, but it's not looked unwinnable. Because Shang is one of those characters that, especially with this kind of variation, right? We've got the ground eruption and the shake. This is, I would say, the most common go-to.
Ooh, the block.
Yeah, there we go. The Warlock players have all kind of gone to this one. Now, ArnKratos does a fatal blow. Oh, but the down 4, that's going to be chip, right? Yeah, down 4 and hit, guarantees that forward 4. That's going to be a clean first round for Jack Sprat. Loses the corner, but wins the round.
A nice little block there from ArnKratos. Really expecting that low star screamer. Ultimately, you know, losing the round anyway, but there's that matchup knowledge. You know the low star screamer is there. There is going to be that kind of overhead low game from that string Sindel. Can't remember the actual input, but the one that can end in overhead. And that's where the star screamer gives you extra benefit. The down 4, looking for the jump.
It just made me wonder how much we see though, because I feel like whenever we see this variation, like when you've got the whip and flip, the basically leaping overhead, and then you've got the low screamer, it's almost it's a built-in overhead low on paper, but I don't know if it does end up getting used in that way. I guess it's the kind of thing you could test the waters, like if you do it to your opponent, if they are blocking it correctly.
Oh, that's certainly what he did in round 1. Like, he had a lot of health to work with, and testing it absolutely working out for him. Letting the whip and flip go, I mean, surely there had to be a bait on flawless block or something.
Well, I mean, there is the low ender to that string, so that could kind of be exactly what we're talking about right here, right? Where if there are anywhere that you have an overhead or a low, if you have a special that goes either way too, there's kind of a constant mix-up on paper. But, you know, mix-up doesn't mean unreactable, but even if it's reactable, you can kind of use that to your advantage too, right? If you're against an opponent that you know is fuzzying and you know they're looking to block, then you can throw them a lot, and she's a character with a blow-crushing blow, so, you know, there are layers to it.
I'm actually really impressed that ArnKratos was ready to interrupt that 2-hit string there. You very rarely see Sindels end that string early. The 1-1 could have been a much bigger whiff punish, but taking it for what it is, looking for the ground eruption. And now, when it comes to range, I mean, ArnKratos, he is fully in control right here.
Now, an element to the matchup that we haven't really seen in this match too much, but has historically been a problem, is, again, that Shang Tsung corpse drop. Forever one of the better kind of projectile trading tools in the game, and that's going to be the game for ArnKratos. But that corpse drop, usually what makes Shang outzone other keep-away characters, and obviously I know Sindel isn't really that on paper, but she does have a good projectile. But what normally makes him shut down projectile characters is the corpse, because of how much damage it does, right? It's historically done quite a chunk. You can amplify it for even more, and you trade well, right? Because it appears above them, it's fast, you're likely to at worst trade, and because it does so much damage, you're only really going to lose trades to like amplified fireballs, and even then, you know, unless they fire in one go like Sindel's low screamer, it's not likely to be that much of a problem. Now the corpse drop has taken a damage reduction. I do wonder if it's quite the same for projectile trading, because obviously it still does a decent amount, but it's not quite what it was before. You know, off memory, I don't remember the exact number, but I think it went from about 90 to 80 damage now, or is it like, yeah, I think that's about what it's become. And if you have the launching corpse, it's even less. But yeah, you know, we know ArnKratos. That is definitely the last move I ever expect to see him equip, is the launching corpse drop. I just don't see him using that at all.
But this is the nature of those ranged Shang Tsung players, is that we've said it so many times, that kind of double amplify straight skull, that's not something people ever really, they kind of used it every now and then. You would see it, but sparingly. So Warlock players being able to take that ground eruption plus a utility they'd much rather have, in this case the Shake. Not that we really saw it, you know, it is that ground eruption game that just comes in so strong, and ArnKratos being such a good user of that move for so long.
Well,
but Jack Sprat, good round, but not much after.
I wonder if that's why we're seeing ArnKratos not go for the Shake, because again, Shake is one of those moves that you don't need to see it for it to make a difference. Like, Shake just has to be in the loadout to stop Jack Sprat going for, you know, low screamers all the time and stuff like that. It's almost like command grabs, right? Like you can literally have someone with a grab go a whole round without using it once, but its existence gives the mix-up, so you have to kind of keep that in mind. It's quite similar to this. But this right here, that corpse drop, we are seeing the damage very quickly add up. Oh, and there's another ground eruption.
There's some definite impatience too. You know, the second you start kind of constantly dashing into Shang Tsung, that's where you start eating ground eruption for breakfast. He wants you to be incredibly eager to close in the distance, especially where we have to keep in mind this variation of Jack Sprat has 2 air moves on it. So there's a good chance ArnKratos is kind of wanting you to jump to use them.
I mean, this is a very special moves-focused neutral, though, right? This kind of Shang Tsung with ground eruption and corpse together. Because that right there, that's either going to reversal punish or it will count as like a check. So even if, we've even seen in this game, if Jack Sprat wants to really rely on that forward 4, so many Sindel players are used to being able to just throw out the whole string, and then they're kind of left at a range that no one can really stop them, or at least check them on anything, because it is minus, it's just no one's punishing it from that range, right? And then you've got Shang Tsung, who's like, okay, cool, ground eruption, max distance, now your best mid becomes something you have to block after. And the second Sindel's blocking, Shang's going to get to like go for like forward 2s and dash ups and all sorts of stuff that normally you don't get versus Sindel. Good flawless block. Now Jack Sprat, he's going for that flawless block a lot, but he just hasn't been able to find anything for it. And there it is again, the check. See, that's not punishing, that's just a counter hit. But it's keeping him in place. And the second Jack Sprat does respect that, he's going to have to deal with a lot more.
I wonder if the next time ArnKratos does that forward 2-4-2, maybe he'll jump. Because now we've kind of established that game. Ooh, the whip and flip, counter hit. Wasn't a punish, but not allowing ArnKratos to move afterwards. I feel like that was a ground eruption that didn't quite come out there for ArnKratos, blocking the counter hit attempt.
Well, you notice as well, though, Jack Sprat, he is blocking a lot of these high fireballs, but you can't really not. Like, if you're like not holding block in the neutral because you want to go under a fireball, that is where you get clipped by ground eruption, right? Like, the existence of that move just makes you feel like you're locked on a grid. And
it's because there's no startup animation. That really has always been, I think, the most dangerous.
But it may as well not be.
Yeah.
Like,
so like,
you're not reacting to it.
Because Shang Tsung does the animation of the startup of the ground eruption is so. It's like, it kind of feels like mechanically it's almost too casual in that respect, because he does very kind of gently go from his already existing stance to kind of just pointing at the ground. It works really well for him.
And then it appears like underneath you, right? Like there's no two ways about it.
There's not much room.
He goes into the stance for the startup, and then Fireball is just there. So it's very difficult to deal with, unfortunately, for Jack Sprat, who finds himself 2 games down now. ArnKratos, I'm not gonna lie, I do predict an ArnKratos versus Raichu winners finals today. I do feel like that is where we could go. I think
it's my prediction too.
Yeah, they're on opposite ends of the bracket. They have that track record. We're even seeing it here. You know, Mr. Jack Sprat, he is no slouch. You know, he's a big kind of, community contributor from the UK, tournament organizer, him, and, shouts to Nuji as well. The two of them together, they do put a lot of work in for things like Lockdown, Throwdown, and other various European events, really kind of pushing the UK forward. And they do play as well. We're seeing that from Jack Sprat here. But 2 games down against one of the best in the world, I'm going to say it. I think ArnKratos is generally one of the best players in this game.
I agree.
Definitely nothing to be ashamed of, but a difficult hill to overcome if he's going to get this reverse comeback. And a bold statement in that variation, Dave.
I mean, clearly the intention there with Jack Sprat. We'll see if this new variation is going to give him maybe some sort of a extra element here in the matchup, because right now haven't had a chance to really do anything. It has been all ArnKratos looking for the flawless block with the whiff. All right, landing a bit too quick, and now this is the haircut. I think Jack Sprat, he just wants to be able to hit damage. He wants more damage.
Counter poke launcher as well, though. Like, he did that on block after a down 4. Definitely knows that ArnKratos is comfortable.
But ArnKratos, he's going to be really comfortable in the Sindel matchup too. Because remember, I mean, man's from Russia. Russia has Sindel on lock when it comes to matchup knowledge.
No, that's a good trade for Jack Sprat. Well, not even a trade, he just straight up won that, but the second, and that's it, right? We've been saying we've barely seen the shake. I mean, it's not about how many times you use it, it's about how effective it is when you do. And that right there, perfect example. Jack Sprat finally found a clean win in the projectile war. And the second he was like, right, this might be something I can do. Instant shake. And then there's any other way of just stopping momentum dead in its tracks.
Oh, he's quite far away. Can't go for the charge scream. Oh, another punish. This ground eruption mustard has been a thorn in his side. And the problem is, not so much in this game, but the other 2 games, the second the zoning started to get quite intense, I think Jack Sprat got a little bit frustrated, it seemed. Like, constantly, you get within forward 4 range.
Shang will do that to you.
Oh, yeah, that's his best strength. He's not a damaging character, but he's probably the most annoying you can possibly fight.
Oh, no, that was a good attempt, but let's grab it again. And now Jack Sprat does have Fatal Blow. So we do have the potential for a win here, but now ArnKratos just pushed into Fatal Blow territory himself.
Oh!
Yeah, you tell both players painfully aware of the Fatal Blow right here.
Oh, it's
Oh,
ArnKratos! It wouldn't be ArnKratos without one of these bad boys.
It is not an ArnKratos set if we don't see at least one wake-up fatal blow that works. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't know how ArnKratos does it. Shang's fatal blow, it's like, what, 25 frames? Out of all of the strike fatal blows, it is on paper the slowest. Like, Kano, Shao Kahn, and Shang, I believe they're all 25 frames and they're all strikes, right? But Kano's, he runs forward. Shao, like, swings the spear forward for extra range. Shang just stays put and just does the default blast. That is a slow, quite tricky to use fatal blow. And it's, I mean, 25 frames, right? That is rough. ArnKratos, however, makes it look like one of the best fatal blows in the game. With his hit ratio of getting that in tournament, just done raw as a reversal or done on wake up, I just do not understand. There is something about the way he plays that just makes that work. And it is uncanny. Like, I just do not get it. Because he does it all the time, and it always hits. I feel like he spends the whole life bar making you think he will be as respectful as possible until fatal blow's there. And then it's like, right, wake up fatal blow, boom, your meaty wasn't on point, so get hit for it.
But that, for me, is a big part of it for ArnKratos, his defensive decision-making. And in this instance, you know, you try and push in. He even went for that looked like a delayed wake-up to me. So the delayed wake-up happens. Jack Sprat sees that and goes, right, no wake-up for you. I'm going to do some kind of meaty button. That is where the fatal blow comes out. But a swift 3-0 for ArnKratos. But don't worry, Jack Sprat fans, he will have an opportunity to get top 4 just in the losers bracket. So we might be seeing him again.
We see that all the time.
Oh yeah,
we see that almost every single week. Because it is a double elimination 8-man tournament, and it's not just a traditional top 8, you do see runbacks a lot. Speaking of which, Law Corridor versus Asodimazze is our second match of the day, and this is a runback of a runback of a runback times however many times they've played against each other by now in open series.
There is an interesting element to this that I will cover when you finish.
I mean, I don't really have much more to say outside from the fact that this was recently a grand finals. I definitely don't see this one going down to a 3-0, but I do wonder what you've got to say about it.
So recently, very recently, Law Corridor, I believe, fought Asodimazze in one of the off-stream cups, one of the qualifying cups, and really seems to be quite vocal about now having answers for Cetrion, or at the very least more than he had before, because
as in characters or variations?
I mean answer for the character. Just like, he hasn't really expanded on that too much, but he's mentioned on Twitter that he's now more comfortable in the matchup. At least I'm pretty sure. I'm sure I saw him post about it the other day. But my point is that when we saw him against Asodimazze for many weeks, he was just lost. He just looked so uncomfortable, and understandably, just in the middle of a tournament where it's really tricky to find your footing anyway sometimes, he just didn't have an answer for quite a few weeks, and now being vocal saying that he is more comfortable than he was before, I think we could have maybe a very different result.
Actually, I have quite a bold point of view on this, and I can definitely see this realistically being like maybe the case. Asodimazze and the way he plays Cetrion, it's frustrating. You know, that he plays to frustrate you. Like, dealing with extreme keep away is definitely uncomfortable to a considerable amount of players. You know, I think we've all been there. We've all been on the receiving end of an extremely dry projectile focus, whether it's a Warlock Shang with a ground eruption, whether it's Cetrion, like spring cleaning from back in the day. You know, Injustice 2 was a very long range meta. Like, there are definitely players out there, and a lot of them, that don't enjoy playing against long range characters. And even competitive players will have things they do like fighting and they don't like fighting. Now, one thing you need when you're dealing... Okay, so Fujin is...
Here we go.
Fujin is definitely a good character matchup for Cetrion, because Fujin does well here. But a big thing, in my opinion, is you need immense composure to not get tilted and impatient against this kind of playstyle in tournament. And composure is something that historically Law Corridor, because he's still quite a new competitor in the grand scheme of things, so he's still quite new to the tournament scene. But in the short space of time he's been competing, we have seen him go from being a bit more of like a troll to, you know, a bit more of like a, you know, kind of trolling, always playing for mercies, always playing for disrespect, to a bit more of a calculated and a bit more kind of, you know, down-to-earth competitor. And I think as that progress has been made, that ability to stay composed and not get super impatient in the heat of the moment might be less of a problem.
But the Fujin,
the wind push.
Yeah, we're already seeing why the wind push was specifically used, you know, in this matchup. It's going to stop the projectiles from even coming out in the first place. And now the pressure for Lord Corridor opens up for potential flawless blocks afterwards. Speaking of which, there's one. Looking for the immediate skywalk. Nothing there just yet. And there's the cancel, the whiff. Now, not a lot of damage on the table, but you are already seeing there's a little bit more options here for Lord Corridor than he has with a lot of his other characters. And I think that control is going to be important.
Oh, just built the bar back to get that confirmed. I was not to finish anything. Asodimazze in control here. Lord Corridor using quite a lot of bar just in the neutral, but no, nothing there to absorb the chip damage. But I do like this choice from Lord Corridor. You know, Fujin definitely not a bad choice at all against Cetrion in general. The back two going to be shutting down a lot of those options. Skywalk as a single move, very oppressive in the neutral. Oh, no pickup though. There it is. There's confirmed.
Now, not too shabby every time. You know, you catch any kind of whip punish, it's 28% into some kind of situation afterwards. Most of the time, you know, Lord Corridor, this space. Oh, and there's the pickup, but catching Asodimazze jumping out, the gravity was not going to let that combo work at all. Dash in, reversal grab. I already see the extra freedom that Lord Corridor has in this matchup. You know, he was so vocal on Twitter saying, I finally have what I think is an answer for Cetrion. And it's nice to see. You can see it into real practice. It's just being able to challenge at range. However, oh, gets the flawless block, but not quite the punish. There we go again.
That should
no
be
break. That will scale
this was done
right?
Actually, because Aso didn't break and there was no button first. No, this should be death. Yeah, this is death.
You always forget just how much damage Fujin's Fatal Blow can do at the end of combos. It's kind of a rare trait for him, really, isn't it? A lot of characters don't have that.
Yeah, there's that kind of middle ground where you can see it, that it will just do a chunk. Like, if you do it super late, it scales really hard, but he has that, like I think it's really important when combing into Fatal Blows for that kind of, like, middle ground scaling, and that's where you want it to do a lot, and that's where Fujin gets it. I think the big thing right here we're seeing, though, is mobility. Lord Corridor, he likes moving around. He doesn't like feeling like he's stuck on a grid, like you can have a tendency to feel when fighting against Cetrion, right? And he's known for that Joker, the Jackie. Two characters that their mobility options, whilst very strong, make no mistake, Asodimazze has proven to be very good at managing, right? Kind of stopping you from being able to rely on them in the same way. And even though Asodimazze is poised to take this game, yeah, it is by no means over. As the crushing blow, but the wake-up buttons, that's probably going to do enough. Because even if the tornado didn't, that's a guaranteed down one follow-up into probably a tornado again. No defensive bar for Lord Corridor. Now, even though Lord Corridor lost, I think you are right. I think he's definitely onto something with this Fujin. Just because of his ability to move. You know, it's like I was saying moments before, I think Lord Corridor is definitely a character or a player that enjoys being able to move around. And there aren't really any characters in this game can stop Fujin moving the way he wants to move. Even Cetrion, right? Like, she can go for the upward boulder, but if you've got her throwing those out, then, you know, the push is going to keep her in check. You're going to get, you know, a lot of crispy wave dashes that she's not going to be able to stop in time. He's one character that just cannot be pinned down, and that's really important, I think, for a player like Lord Corridor. Now, does he stick with the Fujin? Because I feel like, yeah, I definitely would think so, because he has no reason to swap away, because that was definitely a good game.
Oh, yeah. What we're seeing, one of the main tools that we saw come into practice there was the back two, above all things. He was whiffing buttons, or at least doing buttons on block. Ones that aren't crazy minus, doing a small back step. He wants you to do natural barrier, because at that range, Cetrion players, they really can't resist the temptation to do it. But if you do natural barrier, he's out of range and he does back two, catches you and he'll punish. You know, he'll get a skywalk. So I can totally see this side of the matchup. And it's not just Lord Corridor either. You know, we've seen players like Video Game Joe, for example. Fujin is his pick against Asodimazze. Like, it's a very common character to fight Cetrion because of the freedom. We can see now there's an immediate punish, spending that counter instantly. Ooh, you want to press? Oh, very tricky.
We talk about the layers that Skywalk has as a move. I mean, look no further than there, right? Just do it on block and then amp it really late. Like, you amp it right as you think the opponent's going to try and anti-air you for it, and then they just get launched. It's such a good move. That's the master those first Fatal Blow. Good jump, but no! Didn't get the jump kick in time. That should have been around.
Did the jump a bit too late, it seems, which is really surprising, because I'm sure Wind Kick probably would have worked off that. Oh, and now the potential comeback from the Italian is so close, and even closer.
He's got push. Push won't kill unless he amps it. Oh, finish string? Punish! Ooh. There it is. Lord Corridor finds it. very close to not letting that one get sealed through, but manages to in the end. That's going to be a crucial round. A bit of a sigh of relief round at the end there for Lord Corridor.
Always looking for that forward 3. Never forget just how much more versatile the inclusion of Arsenal and Skywalker together has just let Fujin be. I mean, he just gets to spend meter a lot more willy-nilly now, doesn't he?
That definitely has been the biggest thing for Fujin, though, in this version of the game, right? And I know it's a bit late to be talking about what's new in Ultimate for him, but that has continued to be the best thing. Doing Skywalk with Arsenal and making Skywalk meter efficient, like, that move was already good, and now it's better. Like, that is so good for Fujin.
I think it's fair to discuss, though, because there's probably a lot of players out there that might not be super clued in on competitive MK11. They'll be like, I mean, Fujin looks no different, because you see the Skywalk, you see the buttons, and it's kind of hard to tell the difference. But
oh, good grab.
On that note, a round once more to Asodimazze. But yeah, the extreme TLDR, Fujin not having to spend as much meter on everything means that he can spend it on more, you know,
well, Skywalk
more cancels.
Like, Skywalk by itself is a good combo option, right? Because you spend 1 bar on the way up and a bar of defense on the way down to cancel it. So you still can do that, but not having to spend that defensive bar on the way down, oh, it's so much better. You get to use it as a mobility tool, you get to use it like pressure more, safety, whatever, repositioning. And then Arsenal, you still get wind kick. If you haven't got needle, you still keep wind kick. So your unbreakable goes up. You can use air wind kick to escape certain situations. He just gets a lot of options. Oh, no KB. Must have just been too shy for that, or too short.
There we go again. Another catch this time. Nice little chunk of damage once more. Corner pressure, that's what's important. And he must have read a grab.
Oh, he's in trouble.
So hard.
Strike throw.
No flawless block. Probably can't actually from that.
Yeah, I'm buying that. We're literally just looking for anything. A down one on
fatal blow.
will do it.
But Asodimazze.
Oh no! Oh no!
And he's got no meter. He tries to save himself, but not quite, Lord Corridor. All right, we're commentators. We have the magic of hindsight. The one chance he really had there to cash out the big damage was when he caught that Skywalk amp and he cancelled. And in that split second, might have been able to fatal blow. But I'm not even sure because they were so close. Maybe it wouldn't have corrected.
He definitely would have been able to do it, but that is definitely a situation that I don't think... I mean, I don't think anyone would have been ready for that because Lord Corridor, he did the corner amp Skywalk, right? And amp Skywalk, if you're right next to it, it hits like multiple times, about 3 times. He blocked the first hit of the amp Skywalk and then got hit by the second. That isn't really a situation that happens very often.
Yeah.
And he'd already like gone for like the built-in cancel as well. He was definitely expecting that to get blocked. So when he saw that Aso was hit, he just wasn't ready for the fatal blow because I just don't think he was expecting him to be hit at all in that situation. And the way that Aso got hit and then instantly breakawayed, I wonder if he even meant to get the breakaway there. That was definitely a scramble that I don't think either player can be blamed for not capitalizing on. But regardless, the situation is unchanged. Asodimazze now 2-0 in the lead. This is not a situation you want to be in if you are Lord Corridor. This pick, the Fujin, it has led us to 2 close games. Make no mistake, but close, no cigar. Oh, hello.
I do think very much that of all characters Lord Corridor has used against Aso, I do think this one is the best so far. You know, it looks the most practiced. I wouldn't be surprised if he uses it exclusively for Cetrion, but hey, look, we've been talking about this all set long. Cetrion in the hands of Asodimazze is still lethal. You know, he is the best Cetrion player in this part of the world and has been since the game first came out. And right now, looking real good for maybe even a 3-0 here. I know you said at the start of the set, didn't think a 3-0 would happen, and I would definitely agree, but that might not quite be the case if Lord Corridor can pull off this round. I would love to be. I would love to be speaking too soon, mate. I don't know what happened there. Oh, no!
Yeah, that's my fault. Sorry, Lord Corridor. That was like the most blatant commentator's curse I think I've ever done. Oh, no. That was an accident. However, it does mean that Asodimazze is now match point. Rise from your failure. And that feels quite strange to be on the verge of a 3-0 and talking about how Lord Corridor is doing better here, because on paper you wouldn't think he is, but the way these matches are going, I do feel like this is a step in the right direction at the very least for him.
Another neutral duck down too, but he spent it as the first play of this game, so not quite able to fully capitalize on that one. The wind push, mostly used at range to try and stop these, you know, projectiles from starting up. Ooh, that looked a little bit like a reaction. Oh, God, Lord Corridor, no. Asodimazze the dash and grab, and things are going from bad to worse. Now, what's it going to be from here? Critical moment now. Your winner's bracket life is in the balance. That's a confirm.
That all picked up. I did not expect that.
Active frames of the tentacles, I can only assume. And now that grab's going to make things way worse for Lord Corridor. Doesn't want to overcommit. And a last chance now.
Oh, no. Chip damage. Oh, and Lord Corridor tried to jump a fraction of a second too late. And that's going to be, to my surprise, another 3-0. We are actually just having sweeps after sweeps today, as Asodimazze is able to dispatch Lord Corridor in a 3-0 fashion. But I still stick by to what we were saying. I think looking at how Lord Corridor, because Lord Corridor has actually had a really good track record against Asodimazze in the past, but it's the more recent times they've faced off.
It was pre-ultimate, I think, is where the success was coming from, Mustard. And I mean, let's talk about the Fusion pick. You know, we've been talking about it all set long, but tier list wise, you can't do too bad. There's a lot of people out there saying that Fusion is probably a top 5 character.
He's top 5.
I would definitely agree. Because he just has a lot of options, and it is options that exist more than other characters in a lot of cases. And in something like Cetrion, options, the more the better. You know, because she herself has so many, you kind of need to be able to challenge it, and Fujin does that really well. But still looking like Lord Corridor, you know, there's you can see the method here, but there's still ways to go. But I'm sure he knows that. And I would not be surprised if we see this Fusion pick against more Cetrions. But importantly, I'm sure it's going to get better and better. But Asodimazze versus ArnKratos will be the next round of the next stage of winners. Well, another classic matchup in itself.
It's something you have to consider. When you are a player and you main character A, and they lose to character B, or in your opinion, they lose to character B, and you're like, right, I need character C for this, because my main doesn't, I don't feel confident in the matchup in my main. Who am I going to go to? Now, in this example, let's think about it. He wants a character for Cetrion. Fujin is not the only character in the game that can fight Cetrion, but you have to look at the reason why can they fight them. And the reason Fujin can fight her is because of mobility, is what makes Fujin so efficient. He can pretty much still do against her, and he is efficient in mobility and just constant safety and options above all, right? And he keeps that element against Cetrion. So, you know, when you are looking on paper at my character loses to this character, I need someone that beats them or does well against them, you have to look more about just what character they are and why do they do well in that matchup. Because if the reason they do well in the matchup is by doing something that you as a player aren't very good at, like imagine if there was a character that like kept her out and actually outzoned her. Like let's say, for example, that Robocop, you know, one of the best zoners in the game. Let's say on paper, theoretically, that Robocop beats Cetrion. If you're looking for a counter to Cetrion and Robocop beats her on paper, I'm not saying she does, I'm just saying for the case of this argument, he's going to do so because of keep weight, right? Because of extreme dryness. If not every player can play like that, so maybe he's not the right pick for you if you can't play the way that Robocop needs to. And in this instance, I think that Fujin is, the right one for Lord Corridor. But that does take us on to our third match, and we're going to see some Noob Saibot for the first time.
Yes, we will. Sui Frazier quickly becoming my favorite Noob Saibot player to watch at the moment because I've said this before, going up against bboykeyu, you're going to need to have that kind of defense for the Kung Lao forever. Always going to be a bit of a wild side character in the online realm. But Noob Saibot in Ultimate has so many different ways to become dangerous, but you need to have multiple variations to make him work if he's a standalone pick. And that's what I like about Sui Frazier is that he's pretty much done exactly what I hoped we would see from Noob Saibot specialists, in that you start to experiment with all the different variations that you can take. He has at least 3 that he uses regularly in tournament. It depends on the matchup. And that is what you have to do with Noob Saibot. He is one of the bigger winners of Ultimate, I think. He has become incredibly better because of being able to just pick and choose the moves that he wants, and we are seeing that in tournament. Now, bboykeyu, Kung Lao, another character similar to that, where you can give Kung Lao so many dangerous variations, but it depends on how you play the character, because we see Buzzsaw Lao, we see Orbiting Hat and Z-Hat, we see some people stick with Lotus Fist, and that's just, you know, to start with. But what does Sui Frazier go with? What's the Noob Saibot? I think he's waiting to see what variation he's up against, and that's what
I'm
you
not
should
surprised. That is the right thing to do, because if you have multiple variations on deck for different characters, there's no point picking in advance unless you're against, you know, what you would pick it for in the first place. Now, B-Boy, we have seen Kung Lao and Sub-Zero from him, so I do think that's probably why Sui Frazier was waiting. And that sickle, almost like the double effect on it looks so cool. Dude, Noob Saibot's got some of the best cosmetics in this game.
Oh,
I know
agree.
they're all like super edgy, but they're so cool. They really are. Even his Combat League skins.
That's what I'm here for. That's why I like them so much, mate. NetherRealm went full on edge with Noob Saibot in this game. Clearly it was the intention. Oh! But there's that immediate counter poke, the power move style, Orbiting Hat and Z-Hat, something that we've been seeing bboykeyu rock for a very long time. But now...
I actually think this is the only Lao we've seen him play since Ultimate. I think he really likes the mix, because he's a player that... I feel like he has about equal experience in Lotus Fist and Hat Trick, so I feel like he was going in with like a decent amount of experience with both the Z-Hat and the Orbiting Hat. So putting them together seems to be a bit of a no-brainer for him. Oh,
there's the
hello.
classic. But he didn't have meter. He didn't have meter.
I don't think it'd be worth spending the KB either, because you're definitely not going to be guaranteed to bring the round back. Still,
nice little bit of chip.
This point,
Whoa.
any hit will do for either player. Fatal blow.
So we start to see the risk coming out, and that was that play. I'll touch on it in a little bit because we're about to finish the round, and we will. bboykeyu. So here's what happened: a string into Z-Hat. If that didn't have Orbiting Hat in the variation, SweetFrazier would have interrupted that. I guarantee it. It is the existence of Orbiting Hat that made you hesitate, and it's why this variation is pretty interesting, I think, for Kiyu, because I mean he can do a lot more Z-Hats on block thanks to that Orbiting Hat in the first place.
Well, it's like you said, right? If you're used to fighting just Z-Hat by itself, you see him do the animation, it's like, right, I'll punish you, which you can definitely still do in this variation, but you have to have that extra moment of hesitation, because if you don't and you press too early, expecting Z-Hat, you just get hit by Orbiting Hat, and then we've all seen how much damage that can lead to by itself. Okay, just to find a way out of the corner. Now, SweetFrazier, I feel like we can't really talk about this match without talking about how successful he has been in recent months. This Noob Saibot already a tournament winner in Open Series. Definitely not one to shy away from challenge. With good reason, the results do speak for themselves. Good punish. Now that
rather risky. A very risky breaker, actually, from bboy, but I've got to give it the respect, because right now, one more solid touch will do it. Looks for the empty jump mid. Not quite, though.
And then this time, nothing. Because that's it, right? You might wait for Z-Hat or Orbiting Hat, whatever, but if he chooses to do nothing, then there's also that element too. It's definitely it's a weird variation to play against for sure, but it's effective. Oh, there it is again. That Noob Saibot forward too, so good. I would definitely say one of the best ties in the game.
Oh, far advancing. Doesn't keep Noob Saibot particularly unsafe.
And quick.
Now in Ultimate, you can give it that full combo launcher if you have the sickle snag variation. It just depends on the matchup again. Looks for it. No answer back though from bboy, letting the back one rock on its own. If that's a counter hit, that's 30% that you do not want to lose Unbreakable. And that's why he's fishing for it now.
I wonder how Lao can punish that though, that full string. I imagine dash up forward one does work, but it's probably like space dependent. That full mid string of the back one from Noob Saibot. Low-key, kind of tricky to deal with at anywhere but point blank. Ooh, dash up grab.
Yeah. You need to lab it for sure. Oh, looking for the meaty down one. Not quite. Doesn't want to anti-air. A lot of respect being shown. Speaking of respect, here comes the Z-Hat. Hit by the second. Anti-air. No break from bboy. But with the defensive bar.
Yeah, that's probably why SweetFrazier didn't have that slide. Ooh. Oh, and the raw slide knocks the hat off the head, and that's going to be a game for SweetFrazier. But hard fought. That was by no means a wash.
But the kind of clutch nature of SweetFrazier when you're in a position where you need to move against him, he's so ready for it all the time. You know, anti-airs are something that he prides himself on, I'm pretty sure. He's always hitting good damage for anti-airs. Not so much against Lao, because he is notoriously tricky to anti-air in general, and Orbiting Hat certainly doesn't make things easier. But it's that situation where you're down on life, you need to do something, and he has a plethora of different options, tends to make the right call. Like he did there, the raw slide. That could have easily gone wrong, but he made
it was
the right
a raw
option.
slide, like, right as he jumped too, so I feel like that actually was super close to not going right, but, you know, it was the right decision. And that's one thing that really works out for SweetFrazier is, I feel like that happens to him a lot, where there'll be circumstances where he'll make that kind of split-second moment decision, and Noob Saibot as a character quite prone to that going poorly, because of like recovery, because he's by no means a perfect character, right? As Noob Saibot, like he definitely has his drawbacks, like kind of slow recovery on certain things, and mobility not so good. Mid screen, his throw game isn't amazing because he doesn't really benefit from having you that far away a lot of the time. But for every drawback, he's got something really strong about him. And Sweet Frazier has been really showcasing that. We're about to see one of the reasons right now.
Boom, boom, boom. Oh no! Again! Not quite able to get the combo. They are trickier than they look, folks. I will say this on behalf of all Noob Saibot players. They are some of the tighter combos.
Though, and I say this as not a Noob Saibot player, I'm kind of surprised that he drops that as often as he does in Open Series. Because I know something like we know Sweet Frazier has the execution for it, but
he often doesn't
drops it more than you would expect here.
Yeah, I'm trying to salvage it a little bit here, because he doesn't really drop the back one very much, but he does drop the double 1-1-3.
Which is probably why we see him go for the back one a lot, because that's why I find it quite surprising. Wait, he did forward 3. Does that tick on block?
I mean, surely it must do, otherwise he wouldn't have done it.
That's a weird button to tick for.
That is some Injustice Grundy down to trait business right there.
Oh my god, it is.
It is, isn't it? I'm gonna steal that. Oh,
still, this is a much better game. Sweet Frazier, quite the lead to have. Now he's been hit by this second hit of forward 4 enough. I promise you, B-Boy is going to start doing forward 4 into spin. Oh, but he won't get the chance to in this game. So this again, we might have another sweep on our hands, my friends. We might be going into another 3-0 if he can keep up this momentum. We went from a super close back and forth game 1 to pretty one-sided game 2, even with that combo drop, because he dropped the combo, but it's Noob Saibot. He still does damage. Like, as long, if you're dropping your combo and you've still done close to 300, it's like, you missed that one a lot, but you still did a bunch first. Definitely not bad.
Sweet Frazier, though, I mean, look, he's a master of being in control. And Noob Saibot is a character that really excels at that anyway. He's a very, very grounded, neutral-heavy character.
He's a wall.
He is. Very much so. But you go up against someone like bboykeyu, who doesn't have the craziest Kung Lao out there. There is a lot more discipline, I think, in his style of Lao, which is, I think, is why
you mean like the most kind of...
Oh, yeah, the most high octane. Yeah, I'm talking
just way hard on your sleeve, yeah.
Sleeping lion levels of just unpredictable.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, which is valid. You can do that with Lao. We've seen Sleeping Lion have very much success doing that.
That's also a playstyle that doesn't lend itself as well to the Z-Hat, though, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I think B-Boy has so much faith in the Z-Hat that it doesn't really allow him to go that crazy, because you can't really go that crazy with the Z-Hat. You know, it's a bit more of a grounded kind of like, you know, traditional set, because it is a setup tool. It is definitely a setup and pressure tool. Okay, there's a trip guard.
Letting the whole thing rock, enforcing his 1-1-3 turn. That shadow slide always making these strings much more efficient. And the reverse grab near the corner. Good idea. Put the pressure on Kung Lao, or being Hat. Immediate throw tech from Sweet Frazier, not afraid. And there's that forward 2. I like how he's already not doing shadow slide off every string. Noob Saibot, he's rarely unsafe on his strings. He's minus, but he's all right. Now, the second you tuck shadow slide on top of that, it gets really tricky.
Oh, there it is. Now, this has been a really good life bar for B-Boy so far. Nurse as well, not trying to throw it away here, playing quite safe, but will it be too safe, I wonder? Oh, hello.
Oh! More chip, and now,
oh hang on,
my lord.
Wait, no, he's instantly back in it thanks to that jump in. Corner.
He can't break. Restand, +5. The block. No! The slide! No! Oh my god! Sweet Frazier! Oh my good lord, the +5 of the Spirit Ball, and then the beginning of the end. Oh my lord.
Down 4 slide is what did it. Oh, he's in trouble. Yep, full extension.
And now it's almost not worth breaking.
He broke so late.
It really wasn't worth breaking at that point. This is really bad news.
Punished?
Maybe.
Oh no.
And now the punish game continues. Goes for a hard read, and Sweet Frazier off the back of that absolutely incredible comeback. Oh, I forgot he had this.
Is this actually
that is your fate? Yes. It is. It's very noisy, actually. It's really noisy.
It bothers me. So he's moving at the same speed. Should he not be gaining speed? Because he's not technically hitting anything, right? Like he is falling into infinity.
Don't ask those questions. Let's just appreciate the brutality.
What does matter is the 3-0, and we've had 3 sweeps in a row, 3 zeros across the board. I'm I'm not gonna lie to you, stream. I'm surprised by this.
It's not like the expected results, is it? I thought it would be much. It often is monthly finals. You know, this is the best of the best of the best.
Let me just check
with
the
honors.
script and see if this is allowed to happen. Russell's papers.
I haven't got any paper. I would rustle some papers if I had some.
I have a cardboard box. Like,
it won't give you the same effect. It will sound too solid. But
I can knock it.
Let's just talk about Sweet Frazier, the clutch and the damage, and the fact that in that final round, bboykeyu probably, understandably, quite frustrated with how things went. That tick, I didn't even know that was. Surely that has to tick on block. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it.
So.
Surely, it's too unsafe otherwise. And Sweet Frazier, the specialist, surely would know that kind of thing. And a thoroughly impressive showing, I think. Why he is, I think at this point, he's my favorite noob Cybot player to watch. He really is. And it's always a treat when he jumps in.
There aren't many like
dedicated
noob Cybot players out there anymore, right? Like, I mean, I could think of, I mean, there's Sweet Frazier, there's Abyss in North America. There are definitely, you know, more noob Cybot players dotted around, but definitely nowhere near as much as they used to be.
Much to my surprise.
Yeah, like same thing with Aaron Black. You know, Aaron Black is a character that I feel like almost everyone in the game had an Aaron at some point, but now, you know, fast forward the clock's a year and a half-ish to now, and there really aren't many left. Speaking of which, though, one of the Aaron Black players that never went anywhere is Raichu. Raichu is here playing again. Our most recent winner, you know, from Tuesday's Cup was able to take the tournament using a combination of, I mean, what, 4 characters I think he used over the time? It was Aaron Black, Sindel, Scarlet, Fujin in the end. Definitely a player that I will be honest, I think is a favorite to win today. I think we could definitely see a Raichu versus ArnKratos winners and or grand finals. I think at least one of them will be that way. The question is, how is it going to go against K-Top, where Raichu is one of our younger players from the UK, recently turned 18. So even though, you know, and just for transparency, you know, this, you might be watching saying, you know, who is Raichu? This is Josh TQ, now renamed to Raichu. So you guys will definitely know the name Josh, you know, in the online tournament scene. You know, a tournament winner of varying events here and there of different sizes, and definitely a player that's been on the grind. And now 18, able to enter the Open Series for Europe and, you know, really make his mark, and he's doing exactly that. On the flip side, K-Top, you know, you want to talk about players coming to the Open Series a little bit late. Look no further than K-Top and his brother H-Dope, 2 players from Greece with a lot of potential who unfortunately were unable to play the game for the first year of its life. You know, and that is not me mispronouncing. They weren't able to play for a whole year because of, you know, personal situations. They weren't able to play the game, and they were just watching the game for a year, and then they were finally able to get their hands on it themselves, and they've come into the tournament scene a year late, and here they are, you know, making Open Series top 8s, monthly finals. Really impressive.
And it's always wonderful to see the growth of the brothers. This is 2 brothers of brothers, actually, because, you know, we have K-Top and H-Dope.
That's a good point.
Raichu and VGY. We have 1/2 of the Greek brothers versus 1/2 of the new generation of UK brothers, commentated by the old generation of UK brothers. Oh,
wow. That's actually a good point. You know what? It's a shame that VGY and Josh aren't twins, because if they were, this would be a triple threat match right here. There would be 3 pairs of twins involved in this one set.
One of the first of all time, if that was ever a thing. There are lots of brothers in the FGC, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
Sibling rivalry, right? You think sibling rivalry, fighting games are a big part of that growing up for siblings of any kind.
That's exactly my point, though, Jake, because there's got to be something about brothers growing up playing, being old enough to realize tournaments, playing games. Well, I
remember
and
getting really mad playing against you in fighting games growing up, so it's fair to assume that other brothers will feel the same. And then at some point that will lead to competitive. Still though, we are seeing the Aaron Black come through, right as we were talking about it before. Raichu, definitely one of the best in the business. Personally, in my opinion, I think he is the best Aaron. In my opinion, I really enjoy watching him.
And sticking around with the character for this long, Josh has just become, I think, the most experienced and one of the most successful as well. But is now K-Top able to answer back. I was thinking, what character does Raichu have for the Jackie matchup? Because this is where things do get tricky, because Jackie, she is a very overwhelming character. And with all the different characters that Raichu plays, I couldn't really say for sure which one I thought would be the most popular. But there's the whiff, massive whiff punish, and the fatal blow, just for good measure, guaranteed. And K-Top going into the next round with no defensive bar.
I love that choice as well, though, to go for, I think it's the back 2 up 4. It's the back 2 into the kick. One of the only real ways off that string of straight up guaranteeing the fatal blow, because as far as I know, the back 2-2-2 into fatal blow can still be breakawayed by a few characters, and if it's a small character thing, it will definitely still miss on Jackie. So still going for that, and also gives K-Top, if anything, a bit more time to see that he's been knocked up into the air. So do I break? Do I not? And in this instance, chose to. Ooh, the challenge, a normal throw, counter hit too. K-Top was pressing.
Oh, advancing mid into scud shot. Clean anti-air. Something about Raichu that, I think you're probably going to say the same thing. Never misses a beat on those anti-airs. I think the most impressive standing button anti-airs of anyone in the scene, personally.
I mean, with Aaron Black of all characters, like Aaron is a character that does not have amazing anti-airs. Like, he can anti-air, but he's very middle of the pack, right?
Oh, the chase down. K-Top going in hard. Doesn't want to overcommit. And now, oh, speaking of which, the neutral jump back's going to take about half of it.
Yeah, Raichu has spent... Oh, yeah, that's dead. Raichu has spent pretty much this entire match, like, cutting every single combo short to prioritize acid on the floor. Because if you go for, like, a breakaway at, like, forward 3-2, you can pretty much hit before the acid comes out, or you can nullify the acid in some way. It feels like Raichu was really prioritizing acid, because the good thing about moves like acid, right, grenade launcher, anything like that that just puts damage on the floor, if you do so when you've knocked the opponent down, they aren't able to just sit there and block. Least of all if you've got a command grab, which we know, Raichu has got that cattle toss, that command grab option. So it's like you'll get a hit, cut some damage short, reset into the acid instead, so you get off the ground knowing that sitting there and blocking is just as dangerous as getting hit by something. Because if you're sitting there and you're blocking and you get hit by cattle toss into acid, that's pretty much doing about as much damage as getting hit normally anyway. So it really forces you into that kind of ugly situation of, do I block and get thrown? Do I hold up? Do I delay? If I delay, I'm taking more damage from the acid. Like, what do I do here? And Raichu, he knows a thing or two about really recognizing if an opponent is kind of dealing with that well or not.
He's used command grab Aaron Black for a long time.
He was day one barking irons, he has.
So being able to essentially take an element of that variation and then put it into what a lot of people do, try and craft these like super variations, right? All their favorite bits. It's something that he was already prepared for even before Ultimate came out, and now he can kind of just excel beyond that still, which you would be surprised is even possible, because his Aaron Black does continue to be really impressive. He does play other characters now, though, so it's not just Aaron on his own. But clearly, when the matchup seems confident, Aaron Black comes through and does very well, but let's not count out.
Oh, trip guard.
Oh!
I've actually never seen an Aaron Black like crystal combo before. I'm quite disappointed that got break or broke.
I mean, you just don't really see them in tournament, right? Because players, they're very rarely in a position where they can...
It's random stage, isn't it? It's random to even be here in the first place.
Oh, you use some fun combos, always. Speaking of combos, that wasn't one. That's a command grab. I don't know where I was going with that, but here we go. Corner pressure now. K-Top back to the wall. Able to push himself out. Oh, he wanted to whip punish so bad.
Yeah, he definitely thought he was out of range. Cool, the triple blast. That is how you know a Jackie player does not want you to anti-air. When they go for the shrapnel amp twice into a third shot, that is them just saying no anti-air. Oh, the punish!
Oh, 950 health.
Might...
Josh, no!
Oh, that was just a straight up combo drop. That actually could have, and I would dare say should have been a guaranteed death, right? I think he went for the optimal, like standing 4 into something else. Probably would have killed. Unfortunate drop to be sure.
Did you see a comment in chat that says, what is a trip guard? It is basically the extreme basic breakdown is punishing an opponent's landing frames. When you land after pressing buttons and stuff in the air, there's a little bit of recovery. It's a couple of frames, mind you, but it's enough that an opponent can wait for you to land, and then they punish. They get a free hit.
Well, think about it, right? Like if you jump and land and press no button, there's no landing recovery really, so you'll be able to block
not as much.
quicker. But if you leave the ground, do a jumping attack, and it doesn't connect, and then you land, there's going to be the extra recovery. So just getting clobbered during that recovery is a trip guard. Oh,
he will look for the wake up, and that's a counter hit.
Again.
the round for sure is done. The slide, just for good measure. And I like it. It's going to let us get all bars of meter ready to go, and K-Top wisely not trying to break. Uh-oh, here comes the Jackie. The corner pressure. K-Top's pushing in. Spending both bars, though, Mustard.
Oh, big neutral jump. Oh, that connected? Cattle toss off jump kick. I've never seen that OS before.
Oh,
again
no.
Another time. K-Top just getting smacked in this corner so far.
We are starting to see a lot of the respect being shown, though. You know, these pokes on block. Aaron Black definitely getting some of the most nerfed pokes in Ultimate.
He still goes under pretty much everything. It still works out. Speaking of which,
I
that's
really
sweet.
like that. Oh, 4 bullets to go. And now, there's the break. And he catches it at the right time. Look at the chip. Both players taking so much damage. Oh, into the acid. Oh, good Lord, Mustard.
That was something. He literally landed on acid to get finished off. That was crazy.
Dude, that was... I've never seen someone get shot by the rifle and then knocked into the acid as what is basically a combo before. And then we had the Jackie damage over time on the floor as well. They were both. That was a lot of free damage on the table that was being done.
That was both characters just give it as good as they get in that department, you know. Like, there's a reason those kind of attacks are so strong. You know, you might be thinking to yourselves, why the grenade launcher, the acid, all these things you can put on the ground, why are they such a problem? The last breath mechanic. This is the first Mortal Kombat, dare I say ever, where there is a built-in mechanic to stop instant chipping out kills. You know, chip damage has always been such a big part of MK, and
which
that
I'm
goes
all
back
for.
Decades.
For reference, I'm a big fan of that. Mortal Kombat has always been, I think, rather notorious for having high chip damage. You know,
I mean, it's built into the game, right? It's not just like it's not just an accidental part of it. It's meant to be that way
since the very beginning.
This is the first MK ever, really, that has a built-in way of stopping you from just getting chipped down. That's last breath, right? So if you have like Magic Pixel and then you take chip damage, it will use your defensive bar instead of your health bar for a couple of hits until you eventually get chipped out. Anything on the ground that's damage over time that you can on paper avoid goes through last breath. If you apply damage over time on hit, like crushing blows or whatever it might be, that doesn't go through last breath. But if you walk in and out of it on the ground, that does, which is why it's so dangerous for both of these characters you're seeing right here. They're both so good at that.
Oh, and Josh was looking at trip guard again.
A lot of damage over time.
One of the few characters that can really compete with the grenade launcher's ability to do it, really. Letting the whole string rock.
He can do the same thing back to you, right? And then you're just moving out of it.
Big launch to the down 2. Guaranteed. K-Top having to hold on to the defensive bar, but now be very careful what you do, because Raichu is just looking for that fatal blow.
I've had these acids. Oh, that's going to be it, right? Oh,
that wasn't necessary.
I feel like that was a bit... I don't know. I feel like at the health when K-Top did it, it looked like it might be necessary. But then by the time we saw how much damage was left to do, it wasn't. I think better to use it and win the round than do like a dash punch, leave him alive by like 0.5% and then end up losing anyway. So I still felt that was the right decision, even if it was unnecessary. Because K-Top, like, he's down 2 games. Like, he needs to get back into the set.
Yeah, and that fatal blow hasn't really been the deciding factor of this whole set so far.
It's the first time we've seen it.
Here comes the corner pressure again. Yo, a full combo from K-Top and breaking that 41% mark. A clean anti-air, but during that command grab, still taking a bit of bonus damage. The important thing, though, is now K-Top back to the wall.
I definitely just misheard you and thought you said boneless damage.
Oh, wait, I might have said that, actually. I don't know, I'll go have the double take. Someone check the tape.
Is that unbreakable damage? Is that a new term for unbreakable damage? It's boneless damage.
Boneless?
I'm stealing that. Sorry, stream, that's mine now.
It was one of those breakaways from K-Top. Oh, that looked like a buffer.
That was sick.
That looked sick. Oh, my lord. I'm pretty sure he buffered that, by the way.
Oh, it definitely looked like it.
That's sick. Match point now for Raichu.
We've typically seen Erons use more of that forward 1 mid because so many Eron loadouts we've been seeing have used like safe specials, whether it's Acid Pour, whether it's down Peacemaker versus certain characters. So I think Erons have just incorporated this button into their moveset a lot more than usual. Obviously, if you don't have the safety, you have to be careful, but that was definitely a shimmy attempt. That walk in and walk out again, definitely trying to get K-Top to try and press.
Raichu almost shimmied K-Top to oblivion. And another opportunity taken away, the drop kick to finish. It is, in fact, a drop kick moment. That was an actual input. That's not a friendship. Oh, God. You can always tell whether it's a friendship or not because they don't move. They do the easy fatality token for the friendship. But if they want to finish you off with an exclamation point, you see the manual input. That's going to be Raichu with what has seemed to have been Sweep City today because we've had three
there's
zeros
no seems
across the
to
board.
about it. Yeah, it's been 4 3-0s in succession. Yeah, this is the first time this has happened in a long time in Open Series. I feel like normally it's a lot closer.
But, I mean, what can we really say about this set? K-Top has always played an incredibly solid Jackie, but it's a matchup that Raichu is incredibly talented at. And an Aaron Black of his caliber is very hard to prepare for. We went into this set with Raichu being the favorite and continued to be, you know?
Well, one thing that has been stellar about Raichu's Aaron Black, and this is definitely the sign, you know, saying that as we see a combo drop. The only one of the set, to be fair, so, you know, well salvaged. But his way of playing around breakaway, because Aaron Black he's a very strong character. I feel like Aaron Black is one of the games, like, he's always been good, and he's pretty much always going to be good, just for like different reasons here and there. But one big weakness he has always had is he is one of the more kind of prone to dying to breakaway than almost any character in the game. His best strings, when you like commit to them, as the opponent just happens to jump or if they break away at certain times, he does just get punished. Like, he just dies for hitting you because you happen to get clipped in a way that you can break way out or whatever.
A matchup that we're not as familiar with, to be honest, Mustard. Sweet Frazier and Raichu TQ. Again, for those that might have just joined us, formerly known as Josh TQ, the Aaron Black god from the UK, rebranded, but still just as good.
I think the reason we haven't really seen the latter as much is because Sweet Frazier is definitely an Open Series regular staple by now. You know, we haven't seen him as much as some of the other players, but what we cannot shy away from are his results when he does make it here. I think Sweet Frazier is a player that, even though he's not here every single week, when he is here, he's pretty much guaranteed top 4. He's already been an Open Series winner. Like, he's up there, and we know to expect that. Raichu, however, we know is capable of this, but he just hasn't been entering Open Series because, you know, we mentioned earlier on, he only just turned 18. And for the European side of Open Series, you do need to be 18 to enter. So now he has officially, you know, got that age. He can now actually enter and start competing. And now we're seeing him pretty much enter straight away. And he's doing well. He's already won his first Open Series this week. He is our current champion for the invitationals, and if he can get his first weekly invitational and first monthly well, I say invitational, but it's a monthly final, right? It's the cream of the crop meeting up again today to play. That will be quite the achievement. But that will be our second match of this round, as we do have ArnKratos versus Asodimazze up first. This is a match we have seen before, albeit not for quite a long time. I think this is definitely a matchup that ArnKratos has definitely had the edge on in the amount of times that they have played it over the months. The real question is, it's been a while since we've seen an Open Series. Has anything changed with Asodimazze since the last time we saw it?
It mostly comes down to who ArnKratos plays, I think. Because if memory serves, very early on, we saw ArnKratos using like Sub-Zero and eventually the Shang and whatever else. It was a bit more of an unusual series, if I remember. It was about a month ago, so, you know, memory like a sieve doesn't really help as a commentator, but here we are. I think
that may have been one of the weeks that I wasn't here, because I personally haven't seen them play for months.
Okay, yeah, so it probably would have been, I think, even the first week of January. And that was ArnKratos. He used Sub-Zero for 2 games and then went to Shang afterwards. But Asodimazze just looked, he was the strongest player of the day, you know? So that could continue now. As we can see now, ground eruption and shake, ArnKratos going in with the old faithful. This is quickly becoming for ArnKratos. And, you know, the one and only Cetrion variation, really, that Asodimazze will be locking in. But it's a classic matchup. But don't be prepared for extreme rushdown, folks. This is going to be a battle of distance.
At least it would normally be, but this variation of Cetrion, I feel like definitely better at playing the closer range than anything prior, right? I feel like when we're thinking of what this would typically be, yes, I would expect distance, but no, I don't know if Cetrion really does that 100%.
I think he will now. He got the life lead. You know, he pushed in first to get the life lead, and now the full screen game begins, where it is that mix up of shake or no shake, high boulder, low boulder, and now going in again, the cheeky boy gets the mid and keeps them standing. It's just The damage keeps on piling up, doesn't it, with Cetrion? Oh, okay.
This is going to be a hard-fought life bar back. Shang Tsung is very good, but one thing he's never been amazing at is comebacks. At least with the ground eruption, anyway.
I feel like Cetrion has gotten much better at fighting Shang as well in Ultimate because of things like being full screen, keeping Boulder, keeping Hell's Wrath, but now you can have Earthquake. Like if you think a different projectile is going to come, which Asodimazze is already doing.
And there's also the fact that the Corpse Drop did take a damage nerf. So that has become less of a viable tool to constantly trade with. Oh, and there's the ground pound. Now, round number 1, you did say this could be quite a long set. Quite the polar opposite to what we've seen going into this. But the counter here, actually just a punish, no less. Into the unbreakable uppercut, just trying to get as much damage as possible. Oh, another hit. No confirm.
Oh! Almost able to catch the active frames of that anti-air, but not quite. Now the Earthquake, man, what a game changer this move is for Shang versus Cetrion. Oh, narrowly!
That might be it. I don't know how ArnKratos is going to bring this one back. I think even Chip, yeah, that's going to be 1-2, enough damage. Asodimazze, that was quite a dominant game number 1, I will be honest. Looks like a very different matchup from the last time we saw it.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, Mustard, it's something that has been apparent in Open Series when they have clashed. I'm starting to remember it a little bit now. I believe it was one of the weeks where you weren't here. And in that week, Asodimazze just looked next level against basically everyone, including ArnKratos. So, shockingly, and surprising to say, we could actually have another 3-0. I think this has to be the one where we don't, but it could be. If history is teaching us anything in Ultimate, this is a very different matchup that what you and I are familiar with. You know, how many times have we watched these two players go head-to-head before Ultimate? Different story now, I tell you.
I haven't seen them play since... I actually don't think I've seen them play since Ultimate came out, so for me it's been even longer. But I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing from Asodimazze. I think it's definitely a combination of just improvement, because again, I feel like every player that went to Dragon Temple has definitely come back a stronger player. I think that kind of real reigniting of that competitive drive, being able to play under the circumstances they were able to, right? You know, grinding sets day in, day out, you know, the way that they did. I mean, we're definitely seeing a new version of Aso that came back from that event.
More aggressive, to be honest. It has to be said. He was normally considered to be, I don't want to use the term one-dimensional, but defense and zoning was, you know, his kind of bag all the way through. Since Ultimate, and I mean, part of this might have the ability to play more up close because of things like wins, but he is much more footsie oriented now, much more aggressive and confident. Lovely whiff punish. ArnKratos always looking. But now, the back-to-back poke. You want to answer back with a high? Then eat my down 1. Take my turn. Now we have to watch out for Fatal Blow.
Oh, that caught the breakaway.
Yes,
I don't know if that will kill, though.
I'm sure it will. They will do it, I promise. Mark my words.
One hit.
Mark my words. Ah, never mind. Oh, the flawless block on Kratos.
Found it.
God. You god. Yeah, that Fatal Blow did not do much damage, considering it was used on its own. I'm very surprised. Oh my god. Empty jump, flawless block to protect himself from not even needing last breath, because he had no meter. He would have been chipped by that.
Ooh. I think we are definitely seeing the difference, though, right? I feel like even pre-patch, we just would not have been able to see Cetrion play this flawless style and Shang at all. That was a range where Shang just straight up won.
Now ArnKratos.
Just the existence of the tornado adds so much to it.
Oh! Knockdown for the barrier. But this is absolutely a fantastic situation now. ArnKratos just getting some bonus chip. And the more projectiles he does now, the less he has to worry about being close. Now, any projectile will do now. Down for Hellsparks. Thank you very much, Shinnok. And that's going to be 1 game apiece here, Mustard. All right. I spoke too soon, and you know why? I'm all for it. I really want this to be a close game.
It would be nice, because ArnKratos is definitely a player that we haven't seen kind of take such a dominant win as he used to be able to do. Because when I think ArnKratos in Open Series, I think at a point where he was so confident in his play, he just brought out a week where he specifically played only RoboCop to prove a point. And this was at a time that the entire scene was convinced, and us included, that RoboCop was just garbage, just wasn't a good character at all. And ArnKratos was like, I think the scene is wrong. I think the character is definitely better than people think, and I'm going to prove that by entering this tournament only RoboCop and winning. And he did exactly that because he had that confidence, he had that ability to do so. But that was already months ago. But that is the kind of ArnKratos that I'm used to being able to see, right? So I'm not surprised that he was able to instantly tie things up after things being such a rough start in game number 1. The question is, where do we go from here? Because Asodimazze, on the flip side, we talk about how much he has improved. A big part of that is adapting to the adaptation, right? It's okay, you figured it out, so here's my next layer. And then we continue.
The patient game into the immediate tech. ArnKratos says, get off me. His throw techs have always been one of the more impressive parts of his game plan. Historically, very hard to grab him. Sometimes he'll just go for a big neutral duck, often correct. But the life lead now belongs to Asodimazze, so this ground eruption, whoa, taking out that standing 3 just for a little bit of extra damage. ArnKratos trying to squeeze out as much damage as he can, and all these different exchanges. You kind of have to do that as Shang Tsung. He does not do damage, especially in this variation, but you need to get every inch of it when you can.
Ooh, big jump, but not enough to get punished. Now we can see more up boulders than I think ever before in this, because the smoke shake, one of the easiest reactions in the game, is that low boulder. Ooh, speaking of low, low to the ground there with the ground pound there, the earthquake.
This is such it's a tricky full screen game to play because you know the earthquake is coming, which will knock you out of your own startup.
Well, there's a reason we're seeing the second hit flawless block, not the first. Like, you're not reacting to the first hit, but you can see the first hit and then flawless block the next. There it is again. ArnKratos with a clutch flawless block.
Plus frames. Oh, I respect
waiting
that.
For it. Was just waiting for it. Knew the teleport was likely. ArnKratos, this is more the type of matchup I was used to seeing. ArnKratos not losing the life lead super early, being a bit more competitive. The knowledge, the flawless blocks. One of the best I've seen at dealing with the flawless block game. And it's easier said than done to deal with the
I don't know how he's so consistent with it. I really don't. He's just
knowledge,
so
man.
insanely
Matchup
consistent.
knowledge. He's probably played against this character hundreds or thousands of times. That's probably why.
Forward throw, just to keep things going. Expects you to try and interrupt the gap, perhaps the late Hell's Wrath. Asodimazze very rarely going to miss that. But the jump in doesn't even get the second hit of ground eruption. Maybe amazing mid-screen, but in the corner, basically non-existent. However, this is looking real good now for ArnKratos. I cursed it. And he has to hold this damage.
Now, this is by no means going to kill. I don't think it's even going to give him the life lead, but it will even things out to that kind of like projectile trade territory. I think it might be dead on even. Oh! With the raw flaming skull. Okay, ArnKratos. I feel like that is exactly what he was expecting, because he wasted no time. Like, the second he regained control, it was straight skull. Like, no movement, no nothing, just I have control again, straight skull. I think he knew that Asodimazze was going to be moving in with something. Because how common could Aso have just like walked in off that fatal blow, tried to get in range, go for that forward 2, and establish whatever was needed there. The kind of delay of, do you go for the tornado? Do you go for the barrier? He called it out, was like, right, you're going to move forward, eat this projectile. And that was that. ArnKratos now up in the set. So a rough start, but has definitely been able to not only stabilize the set, but he's now taken the lead.
And we're not going to expect any kind of changes here. Yeah, it's always going to be, these are two absolute specialists, not only with the character they play, but often the variation. I think that Desarted tends to have a wider variety of variations, because Shang, what's always interesting about Shang, especially recently, he's quite a talking point, because even Sonic Fox, they've been experimenting with kind of like a close
armor
range.
break, right?
Yeah, but not with the super kick, with the Ermac lift. And still finding ways to get things like Reptile Slide, KB, and everything else. And that's one way. The Desarted approach, which is a nice combination of all of them, where you've got some range, but you've got a lot of up-close potential. And then you have ArnKratos, who is definitely the opposite direction. It's all about range and control. Control being the key word with Shang Tsung.
No, I have definitely always thought that Shang Tsung has like some of the most diverse custom options in the game, but I'm not surprised that we're not really seeing too much of them explored competitively, because so many Shang players, I mean, case in point, ArnKratos, I mean, they were Warlock through and through. We know ArnKratos had a Soul Eater, and a good Soul Eater at that, but it was definitely the response when Warlock wasn't worthwhile, right? But when you can ground eruption, a lot of Shang players, they still will stick to it.
Oh, and Asodimazze's trying to stick out the rest of that string just in case it catches ArnKratos out of the air.
Oh, that teleport sealed it. Not enough. Oh, she chose not to fail blow, but Asodimazze, okay. Now, that was definitely a taste of your own medicine kind of fatal blow.
Yes, it was.
I don't think I've ever seen Aso do a wake-up fatal blow in my life, and I don't think it's a coincidence it did it against ArnKratos.
ArnKratos sitting there thinking, so that's what that feels like. Oh! Jump kick again, ground eruption for the conversion.
I do wonder if ArnKratos could have won that before, because he got that max range ground eruption into, like, you know, the back one that he did nothing with. I wonder if he could have done a fatal blow there. I know Shang's is, like, really hard to combo into, but I do wonder. Okay, Asodimazze looking really good here, but an even better throw tech. Ah, and that ground eruption again, forever the pain.
Oh, the reversal skull as well. Plus frames, the respect being shown, but the staggered 114. All it's going to take is a little bit of bonus damage. Oh, the downfall's going to whiff. Wait a minute. That really should have been over right there.
Okay,
oh my lord.
Another throw tech. So good. ArnKratos. Oh, and the flawless block. ArnKratos, we've been mentioning it the entire set, but it's so important. These flawless blocks just do not miss. So consistent with them. And Cetrion, she has always been a character that commands that you flawless block to deal with her. Even down to things like flawless blocking the boulder, right? When it was just spring cleaning. You've always had to have a good mindset for it. And now it's no different, but so is the counter hit. We see the breakaway, yep. Oh, but a missed time. Asodimazze with the unfortunate drop there.
There's
not
no
getting the
reason.
guaranteed restand.
No reason for Aso to break that combo. Ground eruption combos, I mean, you take 20%, it's not really worth sacrificing. But now the flawless block again, can't up two, no meter. And hang on a minute, a little bit of heals.
And again, this teleport, Asodimazze just had a sixth sense for when ArnKratos is going to try and get that back. Now, ArnKratos, he is a hair's length away from fatal blow. Now he's got it. Will it matter at this life, though? I do wonder. There's the up boulder. Can't imagine we'll see a low one anymore. But the ground pound.
We are one hit away from a game 5. Oh,
hey, there it
that's
is.
going to be exactly what we get. And it's only fitting. Now, it is nice to see things be this close, though, between the two of them. Like I said, in Ultimate for the Open Series, when these two players have clashed, Aso has looked very, very, very comfortable. So I'm glad to kind of see that we're starting to go back to really how things were, to be honest. They would always have game 5s. It would always be a last round
This is
situation.
very familiar to me. You know, this is the Cetrion versus Shang. We are going down to the wire. Now, typically back when we used to see this a lot, though, it was ArnKratos that would kind of clutch it out in the end. So is that going to be more of it? But I genuinely don't know. I feel like we just have such an evenly matched set here that, again, it's another testament to how much players can improve over time. Whether the last time we saw it in Open Series was a really strong win for Asodimazze. We saw ArnKratos, you know, go into other picks perhaps, but not today. I really do feel like ArnKratos, because he's another player that Asodimazze we see every week. Like, every week he's playing and entering and getting top 4. ArnKratos, on the flip side, not really. I feel like we see him once a month in the Invitational, and then he'll always be here for the monthly final because, duh, prize money's doubled, right? Like, if you're going to do one of them, do this one if you can, if you've qualified. But when he is here, my goodness, does he make a splash.
That's one of the best players in the world, energy channeled right there. But a good read. Ooh, a read on the teleport, but no big payout, just a standing 3. I can only assume that wasn't the plan. Either way, the jump in, letting the whole string rock for safety. Very common tactic in MK11. Doesn't quite get the amplified launch and the ground eruption. Too close to the corner, that one. And now this full screen game continues. It's been a nice blend of up close. It just depends on who has the life lead, though. In this case, Asodimazze needs to make something happen. Can't afford to get zoned out here by ArnKratos. Taste of your own medicine, Cetrion. Oh!
again. I actually, have we even seen the Shake absorb a single projectile yet? I don't think so. But again, its presence alone is making Aso not be able to do low boulders, like, at all.
Fatal blow, it just became really
he
attractive.
definitely tried to flawless block that. No other reason he would have got hit by the first hit of that tornado, I think.
Straight skull. Gotta watch out for it. The far teleport. ArnKratos. He manages to get the ground eruption, and that's what he's looking for. I think Asodimazze was just looking for one opportunity to hit that fatal blow. Would have won the round, but it's now going to be a match point for ArnKratos.
Still, though, I don't want to count out Asodimazze. But ArnKratos, he's in. There's the problem. Punish on the roll with the throw. Knocked out a distance, but a distance that ArnKratos has the lead. Wow, that was peculiar range. First hit absorbed by the barrier, and the second behind. I think I've seen that interaction before. Regardless, the important thing, though, forever, the life lead. This is such a life lead heavy matchup. ArnKratos, oh, the Amplify into full pickup. Not a tremendous amount of damage, but definitely something. Just keep that lead healthy. Oh, I wonder what that was. What's that for? What's block them?
I mean, surely if it was a neutral jump, it must have been.
But
or
what
a
was
ground,
he force
or
blocking?
maybe far ground eruption, maybe.
You know, maybe. I think it was in jump 2.
Get a little bit of damage. Uh-oh, full combo. The breaker has to come out now. Asodimazze, last chance in winners. This grab's not going to kill, but it's going to put out a range where everything hurts. Oh, there's the counterplay. You want to try and flawless block these wins, eat this natural barrier. I think that's the first time we've seen Asodimazze actually go for that in this whole set. And now we're seeing it more than once. No flawless block there from the Russian, but he's so close he can taste it. So close to win his finals, but he gets hit by the jumping. And Asodimazze,
oh my
this
God.
game failed. He tried to tech that, Mustard. He tried. Match point for both players.
No, he teched the quote-unquote right direction, right? The obvious thing, you're going to keep him in the corner, but Aso knew that. He was like, you're going to tech the smarter direction, so I'm going to throw you out of the corner, put myself in a positional disadvantage, but I'll get the round and I'll stay in the tournament. I'll stay in the set at least. That was the right play, 1000% from Aso, and the dash up for again.
This is a scary game to play now. And again, it's going to come down to that life lead. This full screen mind game begins. Earthquake or no earthquake. This time boulder. No shake. ArnKratos doesn't want to worry about that one too much. The grab definitely makes things worse.
Oh,
we were so close. No KB
that
today.
The crushing blow, 100%. But no, escape failed. Dash him again. The throw text from ArnKratos. Immaculate. And so we see another ground eruption connecting. We are like even for even. We are just trading blows.
There's the knockdown, natural barrier. That's a really good start, but ArnKratos, a minor life lead. Corpse drop, does manage to get the ground eruption.
Fatal blow for Asodimazze, and he gets opened up, but no commitment. And again,
1-1-4, that's it.
And that quite a way for that set to finish. In the end, the 1-1 on block, back-to-back. Asodimazze getting clipped, and a friendship nonetheless. What a set. And ArnKratos is going to be advancing through to winners finals in the first, not only non-sweep of the day, but a game 5 down to the wire. You know, final round apiece. Let's go. That is what we want to see on the monthly finals. That is more what we were expecting. And a well-fought match, to be sure. ArnKratos winners finals. I am one match away from my prediction being correct. I did think we would see a ArnKratos and Raichu winners finals and or grand finals. And yeah, there's the up boulder we saw. That was the first real disaster turn for ArnKratos. Quite a one-sided final round in this first game. Had us already talking about the potential of maybe Asodimazze could take it, but an instant adaptation from ArnKratos. Like, we saw a completely different beast from game 2 onwards, all the way down to that final match, as we just went back and forth over and over again until the bitter end.
But there were so many moments of absolute clutch from ArnKratos. His flawless blocks in particular have always been impressive. And then it's just that kind of micro decision making as you go, right? That was a really funny moment. ArnKratos getting hit by a wake up fatal blow. Normally it's the other way around. But yeah, as we went into that final stage, it really was, again, when you're in that final round situation, when you're so close to winners finals, you know, minimum top 3. It's a really decent little chunk of change right there. It's a lot of stress, especially when you have two characters that still need to make a lot of good decisions, because neither character known for doing like giant burst damage, you know, they don't have these giant combos. It adds up, sure, but they're not going to punish you for like, you know, 40%.
But again, they are two characters that can get some deceiving damage if they can kind of hang around at that range. Definitely more so Cetrion, because Cetrion having the ability to go for things like, you know, string into tornado gives her the ability to threaten a strike throw, which obviously if you get strike again, that's another chunk and so on and so forth. But that's not a matchup you really get to see that played at that range at all, you know, with the way that ArnKratos plays it. Very long range based, always kind of out of that effective tornado distance. And it's going to be moving through to the winners finals. And that does swiftly move us on to our second match of the second round of winners, which is going to be Raichu TQ versus Sui Frazier. And we know we're seeing Noob Saibot from Sui Frazier, but I don't want to just automatically assume we're going to see the Aaron Black, because we know that Raichu does play a fair few characters. We've seen at least 4 from him in Open Series already. We see mainly the Aaron Black, and then Scarlet, Sindel, and even Fujin we saw in the grand finals of Tuesday. So against Noob Saibot, because it's going to be Noob Saibot, we have to realize, or, you know, Devora. We have seen Sui Frazier play Devora at some point when it was, you know, necessary. What do we expect here? Because I imagine Sui Frazier is going to go with the Noob Saibot, unless, I mean, these are 2 players that they're definitely, you know, they're in the streets of Combat League all the time, so I imagine they've played against each other there. I mean, I'm just assuming, and if they have, maybe that will influence it, but what are we expecting?
I mean, this would normally be, I think, an easier prediction to make if Raichu played a more standard team of characters, but he doesn't. It's Aaron Black, Scarlet, Sindel, Aaron Black. Now, of all 4 of the characters that we've seen Raichu play in the Open Series setting, I actually think that Aaron Black, the Scud Shot alone, surely that's just going to give him comfort, if anything else, you know, because let's not forget that Sui Frazier does like to take variations that have things like Spirit Ball as well. There is more of a projectile game there too. So Scud Shot, Locked and Loaded, Counter Toss, I think that's what he used earlier on. And this variation, the same one, actually both players going in with the same loadout here. We have the damage potential of Noob Saibot, and then we have the somewhat counter zoning, I think, and we'll just have a look at it. Unless this might be the air teleport version. I think I missaw the yeah, he's gone for the other variation. Okay, I got the skins wrong. The skins are a dead giveaway with Sui Frazier. He doesn't change them.
Still though, Raichu has been rocking this variation all day as a priority.
Now, although I think Raichu is going into this as the favorite, we cannot count out Sui Frazier. Sui Frazier has been getting better and better. Oh, that might have been a slide attempt. And now the corner belongs to Raichu. Oh, there's the 2-on-2. Immediately just teleporting it. Oh!
I do love the way that Sui Frazier confirms that into the teleport, though. Like the full string by itself, so ready for people to get clipped by that second hit.
Very easy hit confirm.
Hey,
very easy hit confirm for not too much execution, you know, like it's really a good trick. The patience. Wait, let's not forget, 2 characters with good low pokes, you know. So there will be some respect being shown at down 3 range, kind of like that, you know. Take my turn.
Well, you definitely need to. The 2 characters are kind of like, I would definitely say a similar effective range. Like we know that Noob's going to have the edge with that forward 2, like the further high, but when it comes to like everything else, I do feel like Aaron's going to have a bit of an edge. Ooh, forward 3, full whiff, but no big punish, but Sui Frazier still working on this life lead. Again, every single running man is being reacted to right now from Raichu.
The late jump
that was
3.
that was a very low to the ground jump 3.
It almost happened so low to the ground that you weren't. Sui Frazier must have just tried to anti a little bit earlier, or he didn't want to challenge a jump 3 that would have been that high up. It just never happened. But now, looking at the situation, Raichu absolutely. Uh-oh, hang on. Yeah, that's completely unbreakable. And quite right, Sui Frazier is going to accept it. But this is still going to really, really hurt. But he will survive, and that's what matters.
Quite the chunk to finish off, but that is the Noob Saibot fatal blow. I have to worry about that. Oh, drop kick, good block. Oh. Yeah, and the second that downfall whiffed, it was over. Immediate when we saw that. There's going to be a whiff punish, even on hit or block. That was going to be the end of it for Sui Frazier. And again, that forward 1 buffered into the stance. It's not the first time we've seen that from Raichu. Really well played, especially when he's emptied the rifle out and he has that crushing blow. It is just a thorough, unbreakable opportunity, you know. And I think there's a reason we see him save that until he has the fatal blow, because that was a lot of damage to be able to just guarantee. And that does already take us into 1-game advantage for Raichu. This ArnKratos looking as good as ever, to no real surprise, honestly.
And I think as well, in those kind of like final moments, one thing that Raichu has always been good at is just in those moments of clutch where, you know, it will be decided like that. Whenever you look at someone making the right choice, how often is it? I mean, it sounds almost like skin deep analysis, I know, but how often is Raichu always the one that just comes off better? The display of clutch, whether it's execution heavy, whether it's a flawless block.
I think it's timing. I think his knowledge of when to go. I think the reason we see it work out so well for him is he doesn't really overly rely on those kind of like last minute comeback plays. But when he decides now is the time to do it, he's so on the money. He does it sparingly enough that you never get quite comfortable with the fact that he's fishing for it.
There it is. Forces the breakaway immediately. That is 35% you do not want to deal with. However, the cattle toss is starting to come through. Bit of a side switch. The threat of the corner, but not quite. Oh, these cheeky short hops. Oh, all right, you. A bit of that wave movement. Wow, that's a lot of pushback. Noob Saibot still able to punish.
Yeah.
Oh, can't scud shot that one. Oh, no. Cheeky sequence.
And that's so much damage for an amplified grab as well. 170. And the lower health you get, the more you've got to be ready for it, but you never know. Oh, interesting. Still traded.
Yeah, it's because the attack must have been active right as the blast happened. And there's the amp again. Raichu looking to challenge this. The second you block that Noob Saibot down 4, it's so tempting to press, but there's often always a shadow slide on the other end of it. Letting the stagger go through. The down 3 and a tick. Sweet Frazier. There's a bar spent. 18%, just like that. 17%, almost there.
Oh, whiff punish. Now here's the flip side. You know, you want to go for a command grab up to 170, but then it whiffs and you get hit for over 300. It's the risk you have to take. The Fatal Blow is in play again for Raichu. Oh,
that was a shadow slide.
So careful whiffing.
Yeah, there's no way that forward 3 was intentional. Definitely wanted a shadow slide. Tense situation now, the pushback, looking for the back 3. Will definitely kill at this health. The reverse and the patience. But the forward 2 is good. Does not commit, though. So the round continues. So much respect, but he gets clipped anyway. Oh, Sweet Frazier. So close, but so far again.
It boils down to the same thing. Get clipped by mid with that Fatal Blow ready. Sweet Frazier, he even still tried to break away, but wasn't able to get it. That Fatal Blow is going to connect, and that's another game on the board for Raichu. A much closer game that time, at the very least, but the result's still the same, unfortunately, for Sweet Frazier. I mean, just when push comes to shove, it just comes down to, again, when there's like one attack in it, one mid, one single button, Raichu consistently able to find it first, especially when he's got that Fatal Blow ready, because that's when you have to be even more careful. There are definitely those circumstances where your opponent can have less health than you, but if you're at Fatal Blow kill range and they have Fatal Blow, then the life lead may as well not exist, because they're going to have that means to just plow straight through it, you know, and that's it. And ArnKratos definitely can be one of them. We even saw, like, he had the empty rifle again, so he actually could have done that you know, unbreakable launcher into Fatal Blow as well if he needed to. We didn't see that.
But right now, Sweet Frazier, he's able to give it a real good fighting chance, but kind of once again, let me remind you, those final moments where someone needs to kind of make that big decision. The patience of Raichu being able to sit there, block every low poke. And the reason you're going to block a low poke and stay there is because at any moment, down 3 shadow slide. It's a very, very common tactic to catch you off guard. But Raichu, he's seen that before. Blocks 2 of them in a row. Finally, you know, makes the call that you're not going to do it. Sticks out a forward 3. That's where Sweet Frazier gets hit. And then the unbreakable Fatal Blow after. It's clutch. Constant clutch.
Now Sweet Frazier doing a good job of getting this one off the ground at least. Starting with quite a solid lead, but again, there's that buffer another time. And still saw the breakaway. That is not good. And wow, that's like, what, 3 dash up grab? Raichu knows that the respect is there.
This corner positioning is going to be quite scary. Sweet Frazier able to fight his way out with the low slide. Definitely a good start here, but the knockdown of the scud shot putting him right back, restarted, and now I think he's kind of wise to the fact that Sweet Frazier doesn't really want to do every poke into slide because it can be interrupted off certain situations, but that back one is good. Just looks for the fatal blow, gets one hit, but the trade doesn't allow it.
Do you think that was a reaction on the startup of the slide?
Maybe.
I feel like it might have been.
Oh.
I'll say, the blocks on these drop kicks have been really good so far from Sweet Frazier, but on the flip side, Raichu hasn't really gone for a raw slide either. I do feel like Raichu plays it very safe with Aaron. Like, not too overcommitting. You know, the slide mix-ups are there on paper, but we're not always seeing them. Oh, tries to meaty grab.
Yeah, that's one thing. Raichu often does not get caught by that 2-1-2. It's a huge part of Sweet Frazier's game plan, enforcing it at the close range. Again, the air-to-air. Not going to be able to break. Doesn't want to risk it. But there's the 1-1-3.
We're also seeing Raichu not overly go for like cattle toss as an ender either. Just again, we talk about that safety of the breakaway in the big duck. Yep, Sweet Frazier not breaking either. Not going to risk it. I feel like Sweet Frazier on paper could have gotten away with a breaker there, but it would have been a situation that would have been worth it. Because you would have been hit by the standing 4, you would have survived the grab, but you've been left with like, what, no health versus Aaron with acid.
Yeah, 10 clones. There's the tackles. Already got that ready.
Round 3 Noob Cybot, man. That running man KB is probably ready.
Oh! Now that's so good because you hit a drop kick and you're just waiting for the second drop kick. The grab game becomes oh so more real, doesn't it?
And his grabs take so long, he's building back so much meter at the same time. Oh, hello. That was a weird interaction. That was like the perfect spade.
A very Aaron Black moment right there. Letting the whole thing go. The catch by Sweet Frazier. The neutral jump. Oh! The raw buttons. Looking for that 2-1-2.
But that, again, you said before, oh, never mind, gonna find the low. I just said moments before about your opponent might not, you might have the life lead over your opponent, but if you're at fatal blow kill health and they have it, that life lead might as well not matter. That circumstance right there was looking like it could have been a cookie cutter example of that. But Sweet Frazier was just able to find that low from the right range. And that does mean that we're not getting another sweep today. Or at least so far anyway. Sweet Frazier is able to get a game on the board. And a good game at that. Like, we definitely could see the makings of a comeback here. But I don't want to speak too soon. There's definitely plenty of work left to do for Sweet Frazier. But a good way of starting it, at least.
But it's what the adaptation could potentially be here for Raichu, because he played it really well, to be fair. Like, clearly, of all 4 characters, it does feel like Aaron Black will be the best pick here, because the Scud Shot alone, it can really kind of deal with that shallow slide, but
I'm just waiting to see if
hits you.
So I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm just waiting to see if he picked. He has locked and loaded.
Right,
He's gone straight up to locked and loaded, so the trap and the acid pour, this is unexpected.
I can't imagine why you'd actually use this against new. I mean, I'm not an Aaron Black player, of course, but this is a bit of a question mark for me, actually. I wonder why this is.
Raichu is one of the Aaron Blacks that really went to locked and loaded. Like, when this variation first came out, like, he put a serious amount of time in. Yeah,
here we go.
But actually, yep, chose not to go for the KB.
Oh, yeah, not worth it yet.
Now, I understand why you'd want the acid pour, but it's the Nether Beast trap that I'm not too sure about.
Well, we might find out. Although I'm pretty sure Noob Cybot's pretty good at interrupting. Not all of the stacks have hurt boxes on them.
I imagine we'll see it on Oki, but... So from there, launching teleport, yeah, instant breakaway.
Here we go again. Oh, looking for a counter poke of his own, perhaps. Rifle. A dash in. Oh, not quite. Another grab's coming in good. But Sweet Frazier, one solid hit can still take this round around. Oh, he gets the neutral duck, but no, could have been the round right there, Sweet Frazier.
That is the round.
He didn't do the right catch. That's going to be match point for Raichu. I mean, he hasn't used the Nether Beast trap once.
But the acid pour is definitely doing
Yeah,
something.
I just hope this wasn't an accidental pick, that's all.
I wonder, and this is going to sound really like conspiracy
Well, if you want to
theory.
play Acid Pour, you don't really pick this variation anymore, right? No one does.
Well, but I wonder if he just doesn't have a variation made with Acid Pour on it.
Oh, maybe, that is true.
I wonder if he
still
really
weird,
wanted
though.
Acid Pour, but didn't have a variation equipped with it already. So this was like the only one left.
Oh,
Because he's
man.
not even bothering with the trap for good reason.
Nope.
It's not an amazing move, but the Acid Pour is good.
Oh, the
he
flawless
tried to
block
flawless
attempt.
block. Yep,
no
didn't
punish.
work out.
Sweet Frazier doesn't get the combo at the end, though. That could have been much, much, much more. And now the Acid. Don't get hit. Crushing Blow City, but never mind. Sweet Frazier. Oh, hang on. He'll survive this, but with a couple of % left to spare. And there's no Scud Shot. That slide is going to come in much, much more useful without
But you're
the
already
Scud
seeing,
Shot.
yeah, you're seeing just how much of a difference it makes to have it, though, right? Scud Shot almost shut it down completely. Oh my God! Wait, that happened? I was very surprised to see that. Max range Nether Beast trap, just catching there. Ooh.
But it's what you do in this situation, right? Standing in the Acid. Armor break's always a threat. Speaking of which, KB.
Oh, wait, no, he didn't get it.
He probably thought, oh, knew the Acid would have disappeared. You time the Acid perfectly, right? If you're in his situation.
As long as they take a tick of acid damage before the KB comes through, it should count. I feel like he could have done it there, but... I mean, to be fair, the Amplify does still do a chunk of damage, so it's not like it's the end of the world. And now you have it to instantly finish off if you need to.
Uses the block just to enforce the trap, but it is going to disappear. Too much full screen coverage, and he can't break.
Oh, no, and the Fatal Blow's going to come back. He's dead.
Oh, he's done. And he has the KB.
Oh,
He's
no.
greedy. He is greedy with it. Sweet Frazier. This is a hard call to make, but there's no interruption, Sweet Frazier. Now, whether this was an accidental pick or not, I think is going to entirely depend on what variation Raichu goes with next. You know what I mean? Because clearly, I'm not 100% convinced about it. I'm not 100% convinced because we didn't see the trap at all. And he was going through variations before he settled on it. So in Ultimate, it's hard to say. There are so many variations that you can have with a character. People pick the variation wrong more in Ultimate than ever because you have so much options.
No. I do not think for a second he picked it accidentally. I definitely think he just really... Because he used the Acid Pour, like, non-stop. So I do think he just wanted as... I'm going to look at his variations if he's sticking with Aaron. I'm not... Acid Pour isn't on any of them. Yeah. I think that's it. I think he wanted Acid Pour, but none of his custom variations had it. So I think he was he had to go to Locked and Loaded because it was the only one that had it equipped. I do think that was the reason.
Well, I guess
But
we always a lesson learned. You know what I mean? Always a lesson learned.
Down Peacemaker. Here it is. Right. So we're swapping the Scud Shot for the down Peacemaker. So he's going to have that kind of real safety. Because Noob Saibot, I mean, I do not think Noob Saibot's going to be punishing down Peacemaker. Like, forward 2 is Noob Saibot's punish button, mainly. And if that doesn't reach, no chance. Yeah, no chance. But that does mean we're at Game 5 again, by the way, Ryan. Sweet Frazier has brought this all the way back from a commanding 2-0.
A reverse sweep would be an incredible turnaround for Sweet Frazier, which is why I always believe in him. But there's that turnaround, though. Counter hit. And now, things just got interesting. Oh, yeah, no idea there from Sweet Frazier. Doesn't want to risk it. That down Peacemaker. Another overhead coming out. Because I like the fact that he's still sticking to the overheads because you see the Peacemaker, you're always going to want to block low. Like, he's trying to catch you, expecting the obvious, right? But Sweet Frazier, knocked down again. This time, here's the counter toss.
That won't kill, but it'll be close. He's got to worry about Acid. If Acid comes out, he's dead. Yeah, I'm not at all surprised to see the wake up buttons. He found it! Oh my God.
Oh, so cheeky.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised at all to see Sweet Frazier attempt wake up buttons there because he was so likely to throw down Acid. But he found the hit anyway, and there it is, that final chunk. And now Sweet Frazier, for the first time in the set, up in rounds. Such a hard-fought comeback, and he is so close now to finishing it off.
And he's hit a lot of slides, so watch out for that tackle, KB. Oh, that's a trade you don't want.
He definitely wants it. He definitely wants it. But there's the empty rifle again. So you talk about KB's ready to go. Both players have something quite useful ready.
Sweet Frazier, what's it going to be from here? The slide into Amp again, down 3, and grabs. Ooh. We haven't seen grabs at all up until now, because you don't want Aaron Black that far away. Sticks it out, almost gets a trip guard. There's the drop kick. Looking for it back-to-back, doesn't overcommit to the 2-1. Good call there from Raichu, but there's a lot of work left to do. There's the down Peacemaker again. There it is again, the annoyance.
I mean, it's the lesser of two evils, though, because if you get hit by the overhead, it's enhanced, locked and loaded. You're getting launched for way more damage. So even if you're not trying, I don't even know if that's fuzzyable. I've barely seen it. Oh, he got clipped! Is he dead?
Down 2 at least. That could have been KB.
Oh, the wake up buttons!
Now, what I'm concerned about here is that Sweet Frazier, surely that combo must have done more damage, but he counter hit that back 1/1+3. That was a counter hit KB that could have happened. But because it wasn't the first hit didn't land, it wouldn't have done the 30% damage.
But even then, like, I don't know if he could have confirmed it in the situation it hit. I don't know about that.
I mean, normally I wouldn't think so.
Into final round,
but it is a button. It's a single button press, so it's one of the easier confirms. However, never mind.
That's a back throw too. Yeah, Raichu's trying to stay as unpredictable as possible. Puts himself in the corner. And there's again the down Peacemaker. It's an ever-present pain.
Looking for the slide once more. Oh, get back! It happens.
Bar, though.
If the tackle even touches your feet, you get brought right back down. Sweet Frazier, he's spending a lot of meter on these sequences, Mustard. He doesn't have meter for any of his damage, which means no slide, no amp for the KB tackle, no teleport. Spent again. He's running out of resources. He needs to build this offensive bar up really bad.
As fast as he's building the offensive bar, he's spending it. So when he does get an opportunity, that was close. Again, as long as there's no bar, who cares? But that is going to be the only full screen option for Sweet Frazier. He doesn't have Ghost Ball, or Spirit Ball, I should say, in this. Oh, yep, you can buffer that into Peacemaker. Peacemaker going to be a problem. Yep, the overhead. Oh!
Oh! He gets clipped!
No,
but he hasn't got the meter! No meter!
Oh my goodness!
Sweet Frazier! Oh! No, 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 no! We were half a second away for that being Sweet Frazier's reverse sweep!
I genuinely thought he was going to build the bar in time. I was ready. I was staring at that bar, and, you know, we all were. Because if he built the bar for the Running Man amplified, that was a crushing blow that would have done more than enough to finish off. But close, not close enough, as for another time, Josh finds that clutch final hit into the KB, confirmed the big launch, and the kind of running narrative that is the EU side of Open Series. I know we say EU, but we have to remember it does cover, you know, all of the CIS regions as well as EU regions, and well, I say regions, countries. You know what I mean? It's EU plus CIS. There's a lot of coverage with different communities, different player bases, and it does typically end up being like this, right? You see the cream of the crop from both sides usually end up clashing, and this is no different. You know, Raichu is one of the best players we have in Europe, and I think ArnKratos is the proven best player in Russia through tournament results alone. And that is an impressive accolade, because Russia has a tremendous amount of solid players that we see do well at various events. You know, a lot of online events in particular, but then you've got players like Do Basic who are also doing amazing things. You know, we even saw at the Dragon Temple. So this is going to be a continuation of that. I don't know what matchup to expect. I don't know if I see Aaron Black versus Shang being something we'll definitely have here, unless, because there's so many matchups that I know were seen to be rough beforehand. Like, I know, like, Shang versus Aaron wasn't great for Aaron before Customs, but Customs have changed both characters considerably. So yeah, I don't know. Like, have Customs helped Aaron in the matchup at all? Is he definitely, you know, not having so much of a hard time, or? Because I know it was like debatably hard before. I don't know if it was like something that was unanimously agreed on, but it's been a long time since that version of the game is what we saw. So what do we do here? As we see, okay, Fujin. This is not a surprising pick. Fujin is definitely a good go-to against any character that is really built for that long-range game plan, right? As long as you've got Skywalker and Arsenal, you can pretty much deal with most full-screen characters. And we have seen Raichu. Raichu has played Fujin in grand finals of this Tuesday's Invitational to win. So definitely has a strong Fujin. So this is a good pick. I agree with this.
Once more, it's the wind push. Really good full screen for kind of shutting down anyone that wants to have a full screen game of their own, because the startup is so quick. Doesn't do damage, but it's more about that annoyance and being able to almost like change some of that control that normally belongs to Shang.
Then surrender and answer for them.
Now, we do know Fujin is a common go-to for Shang right now, we see competitively. So I can't imagine ArnKratos will be too caught out here. But look at the defense. Yeah, he's just holding block. Already from the start.
The second we get within that kind of dash distance, forward 3 distance, anti-cross up again. Lovely anti-air from Joss as well. Instant throw tech on Kratos. Always on it with the techs. Speaking of drabs, this one's not going to get teched at all. A little bit of heal. And there's that pushback now. Ooh. Plus frames, the respect in force, and there's the jump in immediately, option select into ground eruption. Just like that, half the life's already gone. But there's that back too. So what's it going to be now?
Always going to see the danger, right? Trying to anti-air Shang Tsung in general. We saw a clean down one anti-air early on. And the second jump in immediately met with a very deep jump kick to beat it. Shang got one of those jump kicks for sure that you can just alter the timing if you think the anti-air is going to come.
That late jump kick. Oh, he knows you're going to press. Full combo. Now this variation doesn't have the needle, so there's no restand here. Just a knockdown. Short hop. And then ArnKratos gets the clutch flawless block. And I like that breakaway because I don't think there's any way Shang Tsung can actually get his fatal blow there because it's too slow.
Ooh, but again, I talk about altering that jump kick timing so it stuffs anti-airs. Yep, and now the jump punch on Kratos. If he sees you trying to anti-air too much, he'll take that as a challenge.
This is still Shang Tsung we're talking about, one of the best jumpers in the entire game. Looking for the forward 3.
Honestly, and the reason it's so good is almost everything you will equip with Shang Tsung will give him good jump options. Even by default, even if you don't have a launcher, you can do things like jump kick slide or jump kick whatever. Like, he still gets a lot of damage off it. Regardless of the height that he does it. Oh, I almost wonder if Raichu thought that was going to whiff. And Raichu does a fatal blow. But not going to matter. Straight Skull going to turn things down here.
There's going to have to be this brick wall of defense from ArnKratos because Raichu with this Fujin, as volatile as it is, things like that. You know, Shang Tsung's base game being this ranged plan is something that Fujin, he exists to shut that down. Oh, the read! The second you block that string, it does really good chip. It sets up these situations. Oh, another one, the KB. Just for the extra damage. And that will be game 1 for Raichu. You can see why Fujin is part of the team. You know, Fujin is so good at fighting zoners across the board, really.
Now, one thing that I know a lot of the more kind of like dedicated player base, and I say that the dedicated of the dedicated, like the competitive of the competitive players, they do a lot of this kind of ducking OS where I find it quite hard because it's something that is done so quickly. It's really hard to even pay attention that a player has done it. But I would not be surprised. I know VGY does it a lot, and I know that they do. You know, both VGY and Raichu play together a lot. So I imagine Raichu's doing it as well because I think that's what we were seeing there, where when you're blocking at someone point blank, you will just like tap block every now and then. Like while blocking, you'll just let go of block and then re-block again, and sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. Because so many people will go for like those last minute throws that the second you let go of block, you can't be thrown, right? So if you just let go of block at intervals every now and then, if they happen to throw you while you've let go of block at that interval, it will look like it's just gone completely over your head. And that's where you have those kind of whiff punish throws that, because we saw it all the time at Dragon Temple, it's a lot better when you've got the time to react. But I would not be surprised if we're seeing Raichu do that a lot, because both of those throws look like that was the kind of thing he was looking for. Where the throw is kind of, you know, it's attractive, but it's not guaranteed, so you're kind of waiting for it. And that's where the OS really comes into play.
Do you want to see something that we're definitely having here as well? I saw Raichu pick up and going for the airborne just one off the skywalk. When you know the opponent's going to break, it almost looks like it gets Fujin down on the ground faster than just using Arsenal. Nice little bit of tech there, I think. Oh, the short hops are already coming out. Oh, clipped by the rest of the string. 11% just like that. Oh my good God. That's a full conversion, and ArnKratos does break all the same, but not without taking a bunch of damage. And I think this is going to be a bit of an uphill battle for ArnKratos, because he's constantly got to deal with this character that just has mobility all over the place. Goes for the release block tech, I think. He went for it, but the jump kick hit him anyway. Doing it nice and late. Fujin, round 1. Raichu.
Now this Fujin looking so good for Raichu right now. A really strong pick. On the second ArnKratos. Oh no!
Oh wow.
A miss to confirm, unfortunately, but the second ArnKratos looked to let go of block there. It is back to town.
Plus frames. Oh, never mind. No plus frames for you and ArnKratos.
Instant wind kick too. Trying to go for the unbreakable.
That's the benefit of this variation, though. You can't break a lot because wind kick is the armor breaker.
But wind kick can be kind of tricky to get at the right time, but Raichu goes for the wind kick so early that you've got the most time possible to see.
This is really scary because he's got crushing blow throw.
Really dangerous
on both directions. This is potentially guess for game even now. Now he will spend fatal blow. He will, because when else is he going to get the chance?
Yeah, no, I respect this fatal blow because this is going to do considerably more than just a normal B&D. And at the same time, it's going to put you in that kind of territory where you're now potentially one hit away. If you can get the breakaway out now, you'll definitely be one hit away from the win. But easier said than done. Okay, good grab.
Damaging grab this time.
Yeah, Raichu is one with the fatal blow now, though. Oh, no. And that's it. Yeah, ArnKratos forever having to watch out for that skywalk, the back two. That range where you're so used to ground eruption just dominating, all of a sudden, enter Fujin. And his options to say, no, you don't.
I gotta say, it is really kick-ass seeing Fujin in a modern Mortal Kombat game. The fact that he's just here. The fact that he's just here and we're commentating a super high level match of him, and he's got all these cool moves and a cool fatal blow, and his movement is his big key thing.
I'll tell you what I'm even happier about with that kind of talking point. Not only is Fujin back after however long, 14 years it was before
14 years,
Armageddon.
Yeah, 14 years.
Not only is he back, but he's back in such a impactful way. He's a solid part of the meta. No one else in the game plays like him. He truly is unique in MK11. And for a character like Fujin, that's what you want. And I really do think they did a good job on him. For just designing him to be his own,
isn't it?
Yeah, his own thing. He's got that solid place. And the way he's developed, he's super good, obviously, but the options, man. The mobility, the reward. He's just a really fun character to use as well, outside of being super good.
And much better now in Ultimate. The custom variation style has really allowed him to excel even further. And a really good pick, clearly, for these kind of matchups.
I mean, I don't know how long Raichu's been playing Fujin either. I know Raichu has been working on him for at least a month or so. But knowing how good Raichu is at this game and how quickly he can pick things up, I'm not surprised to see this Fujin looking so good already.
A lot of crispy movement as well. Just getting in and out. And again, oh! There's that super kick. Rain says hello. And it shuts down Corpse Drop. This looks like a hard matchup for Shang. I'm going to be honest. He just doesn't get to damage you. Fujin can control at other ranges anyway. I mean, maybe at the very least, this variation of Shang. I think maybe if we saw Desarted Shang with the Brawl mode, I think that's where things might be different, but keep away Shang against Fujin just seems to be not fun.
Oh, there it is, the calculation. Point blank wind kick does connect about twice, so you are going to see it be able to plow through off certain buttons, and Raichu now match point to getting Grand Finals winner's side. I think you might be on something though. I think this definitely, it's looking like Fujin specifically against the ground eruption style, just not something that seems to be working out. Oh, punished, okay. Unfortunate from Raichu there, maybe getting quite greedy with the resources, but the flawless block. Oh no, not close enough to get a full pickup there, but still a good life lead to have. And there's the punish, yep. That's another element to the matchup we haven't seen yet. If you flawless block the ground eruption, you do get a punish back too. So it's a full combo if you've got Skywalk. Oh, he might be dead.
Yes, he is.
Yep, full combo, and Raichu TQ with the, I'll be honest, quite unexpected 3-0. I did expect this to be a good set and could definitely see Raichu winning it. But 3-0 is not the result I was expecting. Raichu is not messing around today. He's here for that first place. He wants to get that monthly win, and ArnKratos will not stand in his way, at least on the winner's side. GG's. And that does mean that Raichu is now in the grand finals on the winner's side. That is the ultimate safety net to have in a tournament like this. And he is going to be sitting pretty now while he watches the rest battle it out to see who will be that opponent in grand finals. Now, this Fujin pick, I mean, there's just no other way of putting it. It worked. It has just worked out in droves. I mean, almost every single time that we would see ArnKratos go for a grab, it was that kind of just last-minute unblock. To see it miss and then boom, all the time in the world to get a punish on it.
I tell you what, I think this is really a demonstration of how important it can be to just cover different matchups. I know that Raichu was extremely vocal about Aaron Black with the nerfs that the character received, and to be honest, I think it's really good for growth as a player, especially in Mortal Kombat 11, to have multiple characters for certain matchups, because you know you're going up against someone that plays a very keep away focused character. This is when you have what is clearly a very, very good Fujin to handle it. And that was a super impressive showing. Now, what also was an impressive showing down there, 3-2, Law Corridor taking out Sui Frazier. Last game situation, which actually means Law Corridor and K-Top is going to be our top 4 match. And remember, to remind everyone, excuse me, from the start of the show, normally for the weekly invitational, 3rd and 4th gets $100 each. That's different in the monthly finals because there is a $100 difference. 4th gets 100, 3rd gets 200, and then it's 300 second, 400 first. So for the monthly finals, this match actually means a lot more than it would in the weeklies. So let's go right in. Top 4. This is to get into losers finals, to fight ArnKratos, and then for a shot as the second grand finalist of Europe. But stick around, because after all of Europe's action today, quick break. When I say quick, probably about an hour. And then North America will start for its monthly finals as well.
So Law Corridor and K-Top, this is an interesting one because K-Top we know is mainly playing Jackie nowadays. I feel like K-Top has definitely played a few characters and we can definitely still see him use those. But early on, it would be Jackie and Fujin as like an even split. And then progressively more of the Jade as we would move through for very specific kind of matchups. But when it really boils down to it, it tends to be that Jackie. Now, Law Corridor, we saw try the Fujin earlier against Asodimazze. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out. But mainly still a Joker player. Now, a Joker player that is always, looking to still improve and looking to get better. We are used to seeing him with the kind of real hypermobility style Joker, so he's got the super jump, the boing, the low gunshot, and then, the jumping jester. And now we're seeing him not be afraid to go for the more kind of like traditional modern Joker, which is the kapow and the jumping jester instead. What do you think we'll see here? Because he has historically looked really good against Jackie with Joker. Like he has looked really comfortable in the matchup in the past. And I don't imagine he'd change that now.
My prediction is that we will see the kapow variation because both variations have jumping jester, and jumping jester is what allows you to fight Jackie. And that's just talking as if K-Top is Jackie, which it looks like he is first, but there are other characters, sorry, not variations, that K-Top actually plays as well. And we've seen him go Jade before. We've seen him play Fujin, although I don't think he's been playing much Fujin recently. But look, yeah, kapow. Because the jumping jester is going to help him in the neutral. The base kit is already fine, but if you get those anti-airs or those conversions or whatever, kapow just gives you
damage, man.
Damage.
Yeah.
Yes,
Kapow just takes Joker and just adds damage to everything. Like, your buttons get better, your confirms get better, your air-to-airs, everything. He just hurts. And then Jumping Jester is such a good ender because it does a decent amount of damage and it hits off everything. It's like one thing that Kapow would normally lack from is it's not an amazing ender by itself either, but Jumping Jester connects off just about any gravity. So you're just guaranteed a ton of damage. And damage with the kind of kit that Joker has, like, that's scary.
Anything like that, the 1, 2, 3. Being able to... Oh! And he's going to get an ender. Just for plus frames more than anything, I think, in that situation. The reactionary jumping jester. We can tell why this variation's been picked now, right?
Well, that was a full pickup. And a swift round, no less. Yep, there's the anti-air. Ooh, no commitment. I think he was expecting the breakaway, perhaps.
Maybe. Keep the advantage, perhaps. In a good situation now as Lord Corridor pushes forward. Oh, there's a challenge from K-Top.
There's that delay again. Oh, the walk back. I like that. The jumping jester, it's such a difficult move to deal with because of the options, right? What range it's going to go to. Do you fight back? Do you not? Do you move? Oh, but a big hit from K-Top.
And that'll be the round.
Be quite the round, is it?
Nah, it's just
not
the situation
quite,
afterwards.
Oh, yeah, no,
it
mind.
will be. Always keep in mind the plasma. And it'll be K-Top able to build both bars of offense before the match starts, so everyone's going to be fresh with their meter. Flawless block. Oh, and he
big whiff.
really wanted Lord Corridor to press that. He really thought he was going to press something. Wake up. Ooh, Lord Corridor. Off to a good start.
Oh, that just straight up whiffed.
Oh, reversal grab does nothing. K-Top. There's the mid. Good knockdown. 18% just like that. Doesn't commit too hard, but now K-Top with no meter to do shrapnel blast. And Lord Corridor
Here's where it
wise
gets dangerous,
to
though.
it.
That Joker corner presence. Jumping Jester really makes it worse. Oh, hang on a minute. One bar, spent. Another one just built back. Plus frames. Oh, and Lord Corridor.
No.
Yeah. K-Top with that swift enforcement of that frame trap there off the 1-1. Lord Corridor doing anything but blocking and paying the price for it. K-Top going up one game. Now, K-Top, he is working on quite an impressive losers run, as we've seen so far. He was able to take out Asodimazze, and Asodimazze is always one of the favorites of any week he's in an open series. And now one game up on Lord Corridor. K-Top not looking like he's here to mess around. You have to remember, winner of this takes on ArnKratos in the losers finals, so there's plenty of money left on the line for all the matches we're about to see, and K-Top, is going to be hungry for that.
I feel like there's a lot of character development as well with Lord Corridor, because Lord Corridor, there's been a lot of... Lord Corridor as a player has grown a lot in, I think, maturity being the key. When we very first started seeing Lord Corridor, obviously lots of trolling, lots of disrespect.
We haven't even been seeing him for that long either. Like, he's still been less than a year of competitive. I think it's because we've seen him so many times in such a short span of time, because open series is like every week. And then you've got the community things that he's always into.
Yeah, he's grown as a player a lot through all of that, though, where now, he'll still pop off on people, he still will. But I think
he's still Lord
tournament, the tournament composure, there is still a massive degree of tournament composure. So I have absolutely no doubt that as we go into all these matches, he's probably still going to be refreshed. That said, he still has to fight an incredible Jackie player in K-Top. It's going to be a stressful ordeal. He just needs to keep his head in the game, because if it runs away from you, so will K-Top.
Punish, yeah. Dash punch, get some damage. Oh, the dash under, that was cute. And another reversal punish. K-Top, he's going to be aware of these punishes, you know it. Oh, pickup from K-Top. Not spending any bar in the process either. That was well fought, that round. Now K-Top going in with full everything. These last-minute grenades are really throwing off Lord Corridor, I think, because sometimes it's last-minute grenade and sometimes it's like an empty super jump into a really late jumping punch. A really large amount of damage, though, towards corner positioning. The all-important factor, but it will be K-Top turning it around again. And the breaker used, but not before 34% was done. Lovely throw tech there from Lord Corridor, but an immediate dash punch. K-Top uses dash punch so much sometimes you forget it's unsafe now. Oh, okay. Oh, then again, that Joker standing too. Oh, no, tried to pick up, but no! Gets punished for it. The right idea, but at the wrong timing. And K-Top now, oh no. Oh, he's dead. Yep, that's
You're
it.
done.
The second that projectile connected, right? The one on the floor and then the one up top. Second that actually connected, it was over. K-Top 2-0. Looking quite dominant, I must say. These have definitely been two strong games.
I'm going to be, completely honest with you. I did not expect this. I really thought Lord Corridor had the advantage here. maybe even a 3-0 for Lord Corridor. Who knows? But just how things have gone recently, like going by previous results and everything else, he is the safe bet for sure. But the 2-0 now from K-Top, being able to get some good breakaways with punishes as well. Lord Corridor, unfortunately, a couple of situations there where he just gets punished on wake up. And now, 2-0 for the Greek. What happens now? Does he go same variation? Does he change now? Because this one he's hovering over now, well, is leap, low shot, jumping jester. That was really his ultimate variation before he changed over.
But I feel like it was the jumping jester that was always the one doing the work, though. That's the weird thing, and why I don't know if we're guaranteed to see a swap, because the low shot, it's Jackie. That's not going to do a great deal for you. The super jump, maybe. At least you can kind of go toe-to-toe with it in terms of, like, you know, the mobility department, where she's trying to go for the super jump, you're going for the super jump. At least you've got something. But your damage is definitely going to take a hit, unless you're still getting the damage of the jumping jester first, which we can see, but it might not be as reliable. But he is going to try it. Lord Corridor has swapped variation. This is loser's bracket. There's no more safety net here. If you lose here, it's over. So it's now or never. If he's going to make a change, this was the only time left to him.
And this is that classic variation of Lord Corridor, fresh through ultimate, but unfortunately, K-Top immediately threading the needle, and Lord Corridor is not going to spend the breaker yet. Better to keep that meter, maybe use it on wake up perhaps, or to escape. Just getting completely overwhelmed by this Jackie pressure. K-Top not allowing Lord Corridor to play the video game he purchased.
There's that Joker corner pressure again. K-Top, he's moving forward now. He does not want to let it happen. But again, a reversal punish. K-Top with the knowledge. And that's another hit. K-Top, match point. Looking like he might be 3-0 over Lord Corridor, unless Lord Corridor can figure something out. But K-Top, he is not slowing down.
Nice confirm, but again, no kapow. So these kind of confirms they're not going to have the damage they otherwise would. But that's the trade-off. What's he going to do now? There's that 1-2-1. That straight up just looks like a read on a jump, to be honest with you. And now a lot of damage already dished out. Gets a lovely scout out on the Jack's dash punch. But not today.
Now Lord Corridor getting around the board. That's important. Ooh, preemptive, but another! The same thing happened in the last game.
Oh!
He got a really good anti-air, but just slightly mistiming it into a whiff punish.
The instant jump into the low blast as well. Such a dangerous strat with the grenade launcher. Active for a million years, it feels like sometimes. Now there's that bird boy beatdown. Oh, sticking out forward too. And even if he can break, not before he takes 34% again into plus frames. This time tries to jump out of the plus frames, and this could be all she wrote, and it will be. K-Top getting the 3-0 over Lord Corridor. That was insane.
I feel like in almost every game we saw the same kind of thing happen too, where it would be just ending in the full mid-string into just a low fire, amplify delay, like hold it a little bit just to meaty with it. So dangerous, man. And K-Top, I will say, this is maybe the best we've seen K-Top play so far.
This is his best MK11 so far.
Because this is top 3. Yeah, this is top 3 in a monthly final of a stacked monthly final at that. Like, everything is impressive about this. Lord Corridor had such a good start as well. Like, a really strong start, but it just slipped away all too quickly. And now K-Top with a 3-0 sweep. Well, we had a sweep in winners finals, a sweep here. This has been a really black or white day where we've either had 3-0s or 3-2s. There's like no in between.
Now, that does mean that K-Top is going to advance into the losers finals to fight ArnKratos, which does make me think, ArnKratos, this guy, let's not forget, once upon a time, the nerf, the ban, Jackie train. Kind of the conductor of that, I think, was ArnKratos, to be honest with you.
He started that. 100%.
He doesn't like fighting this character. He does not like fighting this character. And now he's got to fight K-Top, who is playing with this much momentum, you know? I mean, I think it's going to be quite scary. I feel like maybe K-Top could pull this off.
I wouldn't disagree. I think K-Top is definitely having an incredible day. ArnKratos, I mean, ArnKratos we always hold to a very high standard, because ArnKratos has consistently proved to us that he is one of the best players in MK11, whether it's online events or, you know, the one opportunity, because he actually had quite an unfortunate year last year as well, you know, in pro competition, just to remind those of you
Many
watching.
travel woes.
Yes, he was meant to make it to a decent chunk of pro comp events quite late in the season, but just due to various travel arrangements or circumstances, he wasn't able to do it. So I know he was meant to be at Brazil Game Show, and his flight was delayed by some ungodly amount, and he got to the venue by the time they'd already DQ'd him. Like, he was barely too late. Like, he went from Russia to Brazil, got to the tournament, got to his pool, but was like just DQ'd. Like, he was only just too late. So he was there in Brazil.
Wasn't he meant to be a East Coast Throwdown as well?
Yeah, same thing happened. I think he was meant to be at ECT, and just travel arrangements didn't happen in time. And then he finally got to a pro comp event in NEC, and he got third, and you know, defeated Sonic Fox in the process. Like, ArnKratos is a player that I think we could have seen be a huge presence at Final Combat had he not had the unfortunate travel situations that he had. And that's just an element of competition that, you know, it's very easy to take for granted and not even factor in there. If you do a lot of like watching events, or maybe the only tournaments you enter are like locals to you, or, you know, maybe even in your own country, you know, you might think you're traveling, like, you know, hopping on a train or a bus or in a car a few hours away is like, oh, that's a massive change. And to be fair, it is to some of us, you know, especially those of us that may be less experienced with travel. But for some of these players, you know, to travel and compete means, you know, jet set into the other side of the world, and that's expensive. That's obviously a lot of flying. You know, some people, they don't fly the same way as each other. So ArnKratos, I really do feel like had he been a little bit better off, we could have seen more of him last year in terms of like travel. But now this year, and the reason I'm talking about it is it hasn't been a problem, because I mean, none of us are traveling right now because online is all we have. And ArnKratos, always been an online player, has just been continuing to dominate and win and succeed in so many online events for this game, whether it is open series, whether it's you know, community events that are, you know, done for EU and Russia. He's always there playing. He's always streaming. You know, he's always on the game, and that is why we hold him to such a high standard, because he has proven that is what he deserves. Right, that respect has been earned through so much competing and so much success alongside it as well, to just expect good things from him. But now, losers finals, he finds himself here against K-Top, who on the flip side has seen some success online, but not to the same degree as ArnKratos in this game, at least.
And it's been a long time coming for K-Top. You know, we've mentioned this before, but K-Top and his brother H-Tope, just due to their situations, you know, completely out of their control, they weren't able to play Mortal Kombat or any video game for that matter for a year, which was the year MK11 came out. So they were watching tournaments and they were kind of doing their homework and stuff, but they were completely unable to play at all. And then they came back last year and they got used to it. You know, they got familiar. They're naturally talented in NetherRealm games anyway, the two of them. And now here is K-Top, top 3, monthly finals, January 2021. I mean, impressive, I think, that he's been able to climb on this fast. Jackie's one of his characters, but he does play Jade as well. Hey, this is a totally different variation. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, no, this is, dare I say, the polar opposite to what ArnKratos has been playing. He's gone for 3 combo options here. This is all damage. Also, ArnKratos, God of Souls. I see you. I see you. That reference isn't lost on me. Still, though, exploding corpses, super kick, and force lift. This is combos. This is 2-bar combos. The character.
His idea here, I'm pretty sure, is, look, I know you're going to get in eventually. You know you're going to get in eventually. I'm here to fight. And fight he is, as this round is looking so good for him so far. And the super kick is going to be really the cherry on top, I think, for this matchup, because the super kick off forward 2 stops her from jumping. And I know that ArnKratos has that forward 2 super kick, like, hit confirm tech down.
It's also a good side switch option as well, though. Like, should the positioning make a difference? Not that it will too much against Jackie, because you never know, but it's just nice to have. And a swift jump kick. ArnKratos. Let's have a look, because right now we're only really seeing the force lift come into play, but when we see that exploding corpse connect, there's going to be some damage.
I told you!
That's what you were talking about. There's the confirm.
No jumping allowed. Oh, but if you drop that combo.
What a punishable drop. Now, an element we were used to seeing, though, with Force Lift and Super Kick together with, like, Soul Eater, is because you have Reptile Slide that does less damage than the base slide, you don't really have... That's why you have to end in down 2, but if you have the base slide, standing 3 slide ends up being your optimal ender. So you actually have a normal ender in this variation, which must feel quite strange.
There's the cancel. I tell you, the single hit super kick tech is something that ArnKratos has had for a long time. I can't even remember. He might even have been the player that kind of created that tech. I know he was very vocal about it at the time, but that's neither here nor there, because here comes the end of the round, potentially. The slam dunk and the straight skull, which he keeps, looking for the Ermac lift, and now he has to block this whole sequence, and the 1-1 is good. ArnKratos. This, clearly, some kind of Jackie pick. Which makes sense. If we saw ground eruption and like shake or something, what's that going to do for you against Jackie? Who cares?
Well, the good thing though is all these moves, they're very safe against Jackie, because think about it. You look at the 2 core moves here will likely be the lift and the super kick. So the super kick gives you the extra kind of like forward 2 presence, the side switch if you need it. And obviously if you hit super kick, you can then go to Ermac and like get those big 2-bar cash outs, which again, in this variation, because you don't have to end everything in uppercut, you actually do have like standing 3 slide for a more optimal ender than usual. You have decent 2-bar cash outs off of super kick. But if you get standing confirms, you're looking at explosive corpse into lift for even more damage 2-bar cash outs. Now the good thing about explosive corpse is that is not a move that's going to help you against Jackie. Like, corpse drop is not something you will use against her normally, because you corpse, she super jumps. Unless you've read the jump and the time it's going to be in the distance, she's just going to jump into you and get a full combo. So it takes the corpse, which is normally not a useful move in this matchup at all, and gives it that utility of a bigger damage launcher.
So as we jump into this next match, I'm loving the versatility. Very, very much so. And it's something I'm not surprised to see from ArnKratos. He goes in with the ground eruption when possible, but clearly this is a matchup where he doesn't want it. And we start to see a variation that I've never seen this variation of Shang used in tournament before, with all 3 of these in particular. And we'll now go back to this range
I mean, we
game.
still haven't even seen the amplified corpse used yet, but the second we do, I promise you it will hurt.
Yeah, if he punishes like dash punch or something, big damage. Oh, and we still get the slide ender as well. It actually looks like a really fun variation to play as well. Oh! Jump, 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 bang! Ugh, slide! This looks like a really fun variation.
Yeah, but this is a variation that I love the idea of it on paper as well, because even like all 3 moves, like you look at what that exploding corpse could be on paper, like you might think, why don't you go for the scrolls or the tornado or, you know, something like that, so you've got a 1-slot thing that just gives you other utility. If it's anything that can just lose to being left on, then it's probably not worth it. And everything here is just so safe to Jackie. If I'm gonna nitpick, I actually think this could be, like on paper, like from a spectator side alone, this could be a good armor break variation, where if you don't want, you know, if you want to make the corpse drop a bit more useful, like right there, right, that just got punished. Almost feels like the corpse drop you could excuse replacing with the armor break, because you'll launch her all over the place. And the armor break does so much damage. But hit me, who am I to tell ArnKratos to do something else?
You're thinking out, no, you just want to see armor break combos.
Yeah, I'm literally just thinking out loud. You're right.
He's absolutely killing it. Sticking out that forward 2, the back 3 as well. And this variation has been so good for ArnKratos so far. I tell you, folks, if you haven't explored different variations for your main yet, please do it, because ArnKratos is really, I think, doing a perfect job of showing why it's important. Because if he went with what he has always been the most comfortable with, which is like ground eruption and something else against Jackie, it would be nowhere near the same matchup. He knows he's up against a character that will get close range, that wants to brawl. He wants to brawl as well, but now he can give himself like exactly the tools he wants to fight that kind of character. And he's swinging. He's going pound for pound. He can damage.
There are 2 forms of changing now, and it's very similar to what we had pre-patch with pre-made variations. But right now, you have the classic just swap off character entirely, like we're seeing from K-Top now, going to the Jade.
Yep.
Or you have the effect of Kratos, where it's, I want to specialize in Shang. Shang is my main favorite character, and I want to use him in as many instances as possible. With that, will definitely come needing other variations. Even if it's like 1 move being swapped out from the norm. You know, it's something. It's better than nothing. And in this instance, it's making a huge difference. Because we've seen ArnKratos try and bring Warlock against the upgraded style Jackie before, with the ground eruption, and to be honest with you, hasn't worked out well. Has definitely not liked it at all. Now there's a whiff punish.
There's the
Here's that 2-bar damage. Yeah, 375 2 bars. That's just a bit more than Soul Eater was getting, I think.
And that's just off a straight up catch right forward 2. Very likely button to connect. The side switching grab. And ArnKratos with the combos on deck. There's the patience, waits for the stick, amplify, of course, you have to respect it. Delia's dance, so good. But this is the other element. Ooh. The stagger. Wait a minute. K-Top, he staggered this. He might regret that decision. No!
He definitely will. No, that's it. I feel like he had no reason to stagger there. I feel like K-Top had the round.
He didn't. I mean, I can only assume spur of the moment error or something. Surely his thumb must have slipped or something, because there's no reason to stagger it there with last breath about to work. Looking for a pickup.
Ooh, that'd been nice.
Ooh, I tell you, super
the
kick
bar
cancel.
in the world.
When those buttons hit, ArnKratos does not cancel the super kick. He has the tech down on that. He has really good reactions on it. Instant air to air.
Coming back. Oh, good air to air as well. Breakaway has to come out. That's a lot of damage you're about to lose. But 2 bars. If ArnKratos gets a hit now, it's over. Oh no. Not off, he has got the second bar off this. Yeah, not quite. Not off an air to air. But now, K-Top in serious trouble. Has to make something work. No defensive bar. Barely any health left. Fatal blow, though.
The trade!
Oh my goodness.
Oh, the trade! ArnKratos. You know what? That had to feel really good if you're ArnKratos, because he has hated fighting Jackie for so long. Now he has a variation that he picks against Jackie where he has like a better chance than I think we've ever seen him have against this character. Thank you, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 11, for allowing us to do this.
Well, think about it, though, because in this kind of situation, we'd normally see Shang Tsung players go to Soul Eater, but to go from something like Warlock to Soul Eater, that is a full character change. Like, not every variation was as dramatic as that, but remember, Soul Eater is basically just shapeshifter's training, so you get all the ninja moves, and you lose all of the Shang moves except Straight Skull because of it. So even if you wanted to swap away from Ground Eruption for something a bit more kind of universal combo-wise, like the Lift in this instance, you would have to lose everything else at the same time. Now, not the case. So ArnKratos still has the corpse drop, still has the slide. Everything that ArnKratos would have seen as, a big part, because, when we say ArnKratos is a master of Shang Tsung, we mean like he knows everything about a lot of the base moves, especially when to use them, when they're appropriate. And I imagine he might still want the slide, might still want the corpse. So now you can swap the bit that doesn't work, i.e. Ground Eruption, swap it with a bit that does, i.e. Lift, and then keep the rest of Shang so it's not a total change. That is the benefit of customs. Really, it is. And we see a lot in Open Series. Open Series particularly, we see a lot of the variation changes making a huge difference. And I'm very happy about that. What I'm also happy about is we're seeing the run back, Ryan. It's going to be Raichu versus ArnKratos Grand Finals. Raichu with a very quick and clean 3-0 sweep over ArnKratos in the winner's side of the winners finals.
However,
now, yes, go ahead.
When they fought in winners finals, it was Ground Eruption Shang versus Fujin. After ArnKratos just using a variation of Shang that is the complete opposite in terms of game plan, I do not think we are going to see the same matchup here. If ArnKratos is ready for a Fujin or anything else, I think the likelihood of going to some other Shang variations is much, much greater in this grand finals. However, if ArnKratos goes for the kind of brawler Shang Tsung, Raichu doesn't need to pick Fujin first. We might even have a hidden select, a hidden cursor, because that first match is going to be really important. But ArnKratos could pick other things to give himself a better chance here.
So just for those who watch that might be curious as to how that works. So hidden cursor is a feature you can do in this game where you basically just hide your character select cursor. Not something I think we've ever seen since Ultimate, because there are so many variations to pick from and there's no real, obviously, indicator for where you are looking. We've seen players, I think I've only ever seen hidden cursor used once since Ultimate, and someone picked the wrong variation because of it. But in tournament, you can actually ask the admins for for blind pick beforehand. So they basically tell the admins what they're playing secretly each, and then they both basically pick at the same time, simultaneously. So if you are in tournament and you want to do hidden cursor, usually you can just ask the admin for a blind pick, and that's how it would work. So even though it's hard to do in practical online matches, in tournaments you can still do it safely by just asking the admin for blind pick. So if you want that, you can still do it. However, I do think we're going to see a chat is actually very confident in ArnKratos in the run back. Like, we have Raichu with, I would say, one of the quickest 3-0s in a day of a lot of 3-0s, and chat is still pulling for ArnKratos here, so they are confident in the run back. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got to get the reset, but it is ArnKratos we're talking about, so I definitely don't think it's impossible.
I think a lot of people they just want to see the run back too. They want to see the reset. They want to see the kind of comeback story here. Ultimate being so different. I remember watching Raichu and ArnKratos clashing during the Aftermath days constantly in online tournaments, and it just tended to always be Aaron Black versus Shang. It was almost always a game 5 last round. It was so close every time they used to go head to head. But now things are different. And
no, he's going back to the ground eruption, or is he? I don't know.
No,
yeah, he is.
Can I be honest? I am very surprised that he's done this. I really am surprised he hasn't shied away from it, because it just looked like quite an uphill struggle. Is this the same variation?
I don't know if I'd go as far as to say that this is a bad matchup for Ground Eruption Shang, but in this tournament it didn't go well. But that doesn't mean it will go well. Doesn't mean it will go bad twice in the same event. I think it's worth at least one game if you want to try it.
Well worth it. The grand finals of our monthly finals.
We are brothers and equals.
I'm just going to listen to this intro.
Utopian fantasy.
However,
every time there's Shang Tsung there, no, I tell you, every time there's a Shang Tsung, I can't help but just listen to it.
I'm fairly sure that the voices don't go through to stream. So when you say we're going to listen to the intro, the stream is just watching lip sync.
No, they do. They do now.
Oh, has it changed?
Yeah.
Oh, well then. There we go. I felt the need to talk over them, assuming chat can't hear them. So now we've cleared up that mistake.
I do think that it should be a bannable offense taking short hair Fujin, though, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. But I feel like we're not unanimous in that.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. I'm right. Anyway, there's the standing 3 and the knockdown. Now, when they fought earlier on ArnKratos, I mean, really nothing he tried was working out the forbidden. I am not used to seeing that crushing blow.
I wouldn't say that's a forbidden. I honestly wouldn't say that's a forbidden crushing blow.
I'd say it was. No, it's a forbidden crushing blow outside of Cyclone. When you have Cyclone, you can combo it.
When I think forbidden, I think like rain kick from like Shang. I think like Johnny Cage double boot to the face. That's forbidden.
Rain kick with Shang is just not in the game. That's not even forbidden. That's just non-existent.
That's not forbidden. That's impossible.
Impossible in a real match, unless you freeze them or something, or you want to style out on finishing. However, enough of that, because now round 1 goes to Raichu. We always have to mention, I always want to make sure everyone knows, we are here on the PlayStation, Switch, and YouTube, the double elimination format in the grand finals. If Raichu wins this 3 out of 5, that's it, tournament's over, because he's in the winner's side. If ArnKratos wins this 3 out of 5, we basically reset the bracket, putting Raichu in losers, and we go again. So Raichu has significantly less work to do in this grand final. Micro duck, and the punish. Air snow's good. Oh. And we go back into the short hop.
Immediate shift. Oh, big whiff. Oh, dash up grab. I think maybe expecting a punish was ArnKratos. Right, you can tell when he really turns on the speed.
Too far
not
away.
quite close enough. Maximum range in that standing 4.
That wind push is going to make the corpse drop really difficult, but hang on, ArnKratos. He used the fatal blow in the last round. The release block tech. And the chip. There's the jumping again, and the flawless block.
That was a clutch flawless block from ArnKratos. My goodness.
Final round. Fight.
Okay, ArnKratos.
Here we go. Man, Fujin with that up 3 from a million miles away. Lovely throw tech. ArnKratos always seems to know what direction you want to throw him in. Even mid-screen when it's a complete 50-50.
Oh, hello. ArnKratos looking good here. Oh, doesn't quite punish the roll.
And he's point blank a lot more too. This isn't just Raichu dominating the match like it was when they fought in winners. ArnKratos just wasn't allowed to exist when they fought in winners. And already in grand finals, it is a different story entirely as the Russian Shang gets the first game.
This is why, in my opinion, it's not a huge surprise that he didn't immediately swap variations, because I feel like you look at the way the winners finals went, I feel like a ton of the match was Raichu playing perfectly on defense when it came down to like throw or button mind games. And that is definitely a big part of Shang Tsung. And with any character that wants to do a lot of throws, if you just happen to read the throws every time and you punish them every time, that is going to be a supreme amount of damage. Like, there's no avoiding it. But in this kind of match, we're now seeing ArnKratos. He's obviously still playing, he's still doing a couple of throws, but it's not quite as relentless. I think he's being a bit more, we're seeing him be a bit more prone to staying a bit safer, I think, in the offense. And that safety is eventually ending up in Raichu getting tagged. Now, Raichu instantly changing to Johnny Cage. Now, this is also, again, another thing where we saw a 3-0 with the Fujin, a swift 3-0 at that, in the winners finals. But now, not only did ArnKratos take the first game of the grand finals, it's already made Raichu switch off. So I wonder if he was intending to go Johnny Cage at some point. And then he just didn't lose a game in winners finals, so he just stayed as Fujin the whole time.
Well, the Johnny Cage has been a character of Raichu's for some time, although I will admit I haven't seen it in a while, and that looked like Pissed Off was coming through, trying to go in for that armor break. But what will the Cage do here? Very fundamental. Whipping! Yes, indeed. Oh, here we go, ArnKratos. The control now belonging to Shang, as always. Oh, the trade.
Now, again, right as you feel like it's your time to move, ground eruption just appears.
Not at a close enough range to get that reversal shadow kick, though. And there's good awareness there from Raichu to not put his life on the line for something that will just get blocked, especially from that much pushback. But you'll notice, ArnKratos, he's specifically not doing ground eruption unless he's at a safe range. He does not want to get shadow kick into knockdown. But now, there's the punish and the shades. I think he's dead. And there's nothing he can do.
My good, he is? My word. Yeah, because even if he could have break away, I mean, he's got Pissed Off, right? He has the armor breaker.
I actually thought he was going to use Pissed Off to keep the corner positioning, to be honest.
That was quite a clutch way back through that round. I'm not gonna lie, that was looking pretty rough, but no, confirm. There's the armor break.
Such good damage. Oh, the release block tech. Never get tired of it. Tech that still not a lot of players use.
He's still got to be one of the best in the community at that. Just letting go of block right as the jump kick's about to connect, either low profile it or throw it off a bit.
Like right there.
So
did it again. Then the whole string rock. This time the respect continuing to be shown there by ArnKratos, whiffing the straight skull. That was a risky play, but there's no punish. Josh probably wasn't ready. Oh, whatever that was, it works out for Raichu now. And he's empty jump low in now. He wants to punish that release block tech and still get a turn. The forward throw. No, the reverse throw. No, forward throw. I forgot what Cage's throws look like. Don't mind me. Just, commentator over here.
That's right. That's a back throw. I'll teach you. That is Shang Tsung's back throw.
Oh, cheers,
forward
man.
Throw, which we're seeing now, gives some health back.
I know that's a forward throw because it's green. The reverse throw is yellow with Shang.
That's what they do. They need to make all forward throws green. Oh, we are big whiffing here.
Hit him with the yellow throw.
That fatal blow is there, though. This is still Johnny Cage. If Johnny Cage has throw-in shades, he does get to use Fatal Blow to win both rounds.
10 seconds on the clock.
He can technically do it any time. Oh,
no,
not
smoke!
in time. That smoke shake marginally too slow by a fraction of a second. But a good turnaround as Raichu is able to get a game on the board with the Johnny Cage. Not too surprised to see this as well today. I mean, we know Raichu has definitely been playing a bunch of different characters, and one of them has been Johnny Cage for a while. Haven't seen it in tournament for some time, though. But good to see that it's still very much practiced and ready to go. And this is that kind of, the mindset of swapping characters that I will always just really find so interesting. Because I feel like so many players would have just stuck with Fujin in the grand finals. Because it would be like, well, one winners finals 3-0, so Fujin's obviously the right choice. On the flip side, so many of us would have lost 3-0 with this variation in the grand finals with Shang Tsung and gone, nah, I'm not playing this Shang variation again. I'm going to try something else. But the composure that these players have to be able to recognize, because obviously it's not a simple case of I've lost, so I'm going to change. But these are two players that we have seen are willing to change. You know, it's just under what circumstances exactly. There's so much to it.
And like I said, it's been a while since I've seen Raichu using Cage in tournament, because it was definitely more of an aftermath pick, I think, the Cage was. But
Yeah,
now,
I think
clearly,
so.
still in good form. Rocking one of the cool skins. I really like those like Black Dragon skins.
I feel like it wasn't really until Aftermath time that Raichu even started going away from Aaron Black at all, you know? Because definitely wasn't Aaron Black, like, purist early on.
Times change, you get familiar playing different characters in tournament. Having the mentality to pull yourself away from your favorite character in tournament is not easy either. Because sometimes you just want to use your favorite character, but the desire to win tournaments starts to outweigh the desire to be the highest placing user of that character, you know? Those times are long gone. Ooh, whip punish. Yo, Johnny Cage shadow kick on the MK1 stage.
I mean, I feel like that's just an element to competition that just shows how serious players are. Like, when you get to this level of play, oh my god, optimal!
Hang on.
That was a standing three, that's tricky.
He can't break, he has to hold it.
Oh my goodness!
But wait!
Oh, hang on, no, he's back, he's back. Magic Pixel no more.
Oh no! That tree in the background's like, hey, let's go, Johnny Cage!
I think that's the first time I've seen a Shades combo do over 500 without like anything else added to it. That was a tremendous amount of damage.
Yo, that tree on the left is hype for Johnny Cage. The tree on the right in its passive new, that's how ArnKratos felt getting hit by it. You'll see what I mean. When it comes back, you'll see what I mean. Look, he's not impressed. That tree is not impressed.
No, I feel like the Living Forest, like the repertoire of faces is a mood for every emotion you can feel while competing.
That guy in the background that's struggling on the vines drowned in pools.
But it's not quite finished yet.
Oh, anyway, back to the match. Right now.
Ground eruption. Now, we're not seeing flawless block into shadow kick as much. That's normally a big thing you see in the matchup is flawless block ground eruption, reversal shadow kick. I feel like Raichu is just going for much bigger payouts. Like, he's always willing to go for the forward three. Because even though it's not always punishing, it's always being blocked at least. So ArnKratos is having to stay put. Oh my god.
Now we're gaming.
What was that?
The flawless block versus the flawless block.
We are big gaming. Oh, that could have been it.
The delayed back three. He wanted to shimmy him so hard. He gets the launch anyway. That's going to be the second game for Raichu. And one game away from winning the tournament. Wow, this Johnny Cage has been an absolute belter.
But also a perfect example of, again, why learning multiple characters is important if you play characters that can't 100% win solo. And this actually goes back to a point that we were briefly touching on in that match itself, but that's a sign to how seriously these players are taking it. You know, we are, like, I know you look, you know, you can look online, you can look on Twitter, and, you know, the community can be you know, like any game community, right? There could be memes, there could be trolling, there could be people, you know, making a joke of it, even in competitive, and that's fine, you know, like, you know, people having a laugh, that makes sense. But when push comes to shove, you're playing at the top level, you know, Open Series monthly final, pro competition. You're playing for money, you're playing for world championship spots and reputation. And when this is the circumstance you play in, you have to take it seriously, and that's what we're seeing from Raichu here. Because you mentioned briefly on the you know, there are players out there that their goal, even some competitive players, it's not to win the tournament, it's to be the highest placing player of the character you're using, right? To be the best with the character, which is fair enough. It's a fair goal, but at the top level of competition, that's not a concern of these players. You know, I can promise you that Raichu, his priority isn't being the best Aaron, it's being the best MK11 player, you know, and that is a mindset that players at the top level need to have. It's about, you know, obviously you can have your own goals, but when you're really playing at the top level, you know, it's priorities.
So many flawless blocks coming out. Johnny Cage, always said to have been, you know, a character that can fight Shang Tsung quite well. Again, it's tools to compete. Just being able to challenge at all ranges, so Shang Tsung doesn't get to completely dominate the screen. ground eruption Shang, when back in the pre-aftermath days, the Warlock variation had so many winning matchups that statistically made Shang a top character even on its own. And now
corner damage.
Can't break any of it. Oh, and we restand into more. What's next? Down 4. The defense on the Rising Star, but not able to escape this predicament that he's currently in. The jump into down 1, really trying to stop anything, get some kind of a turn. The whiff is good though. And now the Nutcracker, a tech for Raichu. And just like that, a little bit extra. Anything on block will do. ArnKratos, never mind. 2%. Give it
But
back.
no last breath though. Last breath's already gone. That heal is not going to do too much. Oh, that's 10 seconds
the
left.
flawless block. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. 3 seconds. Oh my god.
Oh no, not enough. Not enough.
Too long.
And he did the back throw.
Took too long.
No, imagine that. Imagine that happening by like the skin of your teeth, and then Johnny Cage gets up and gives you the finger guns. That is next level passive aggression.
Oh, he was so
That's
close.
tournament point though. Tournament point officially for Raichu.
1 round away from Raichu winning both.
Oh no.
The final week of January, and at this point in the monthly finals, ArnKratos not going to break. You do not want to get hit by that armor breaker of Cage. And he's playing so well today, Mustard. This Cage, I haven't seen it in so long yet. It's still so tip-top. What's going on here?
Oh, that's still picked up the whole string, no less. My goodness. Less than half a life bar left to go. Raichu. He's got no bar, but he's got such a health lead. Yep, instant breakaway. Overhead. What's it going to be, Raichu? ArnKratos, he's still fighting back. He got that on block. Okay, corner opening. Fatal blow still on the cards.
Hang on a minute. 1-1. Oh! We're starting to pull out all the stops, I think, if you're ArnKratos. Fatal blow still already. Oh, no. That's a projectile you don't want to get
He can't break. No fatal blow.
Boom, boom, bang.
Okay, no, that probably won't kill, but it will be close. I don't think that will kill. This last hit does a lot, but yeah, not enough. Not that much.
But he has to go in.
Oh, the roll!
He commits!
Oh, the roll. And then the missed fatal blow. Wait, missed the fatal blow and then do a fatality. Oh, number 1. Raichu. In 1 week, making his Open Series Invitational debut, first place. Open Series Monthly Final debut, first place. 2 tournament wins in 1 week of Open Series. GG's to Raichu, getting that well-deserved first place. ArnKratos, not quite able to bring it back in the grand finals, but doing a damn good job in the process. Second place, a good grand finals, and a well-fought win for Raichu. Definitely, again, there's a reason I said that Raichu is hands down one of the very best players in Europe. It cannot be denied at this point. The results do speak for themselves.
I tell you what,
and continue speaking, they do.
And we got pro competition this weekend where we're probably going to see Raichu again, because Raichu's the reigning.
I said this on Tuesday.
Reigning champ.
What you're about to say is true. Like this is what I said on Tuesday. This could be one of potentially 4 tournament wins we see Raichu get in the next 7 days. Maybe.
That would be
He's
ridiculous.
done 2.
That would be ridiculous. We're halfway there. But I mean, got to give ArnKratos the props. Being able to, I think, adjust against the Fujin, being able to win that first game. And then the strength of having many characters. Here comes the Johnny Cage, truth be told, out of completely nowhere. And being able
I didn't expect the Johnny pick. Like, not at all.
Neither did
Not
I.
at all.
It's going to be absolutely insane. I see people asking about the pro competition on Sunday. It starts on Saturday, but the stream will be Sunday. You can find it on NetherRealm's channels, but I believe it is actually streamed on PlayStation channels as well. So you should be able to find it. And you'll be able to find us talking video games once more, but the important thing, the players who give it their 110%. And shout-outs to Raichu taking yet another tournament this week. We'll see if he's able to get another one with the latest Intercontinental, which you'll be able to find on Sunday, just to remind everybody.
I mean, Raichu is the reigning Intercontinental champ. Won the most recent tournament 3 weeks ago. Tournament starts again tomorrow, and for pro competition, like Open Series is just an ongoing thing for weekly cash, right? But pro competition is
look at all that.
Points. Yeah, there's plenty of cups left to go though, my friends. If you like MK11 Open Series, you got all of Feb to look forward to. There's BB Tag monthly finals, Soul Calibur, Under Night in Birth, so much to come.
if you want to see some really top-level matchups as well, next week, the 5th of February, the FGC Arcade will be taking place, which is a wonderful PS4 tournaments collaboration, basically, between all the different fighting games that are done here on the channel. You're going to have myself, we have a bunch of the other top-tier talent, you know, from all of the other games. We're all going to be kind of combining our forces, and it's going to be Under Night, BB Tag, Soul Calibur, and Mortal Kombat, a bunch of top-level exhibitions. Same place, but it'll be February 5th. Make sure you watch it.
It's a big celebration, right?
It is. It's a big celebration.
Of FGC Open Series. You know, we've been doing Open Series for going into our 9th month, well, February. So it's been a long time of fighting games. Much to enjoy, and much continues as well on Open Series. Speaking of which, if you at home do want to get involved, you can. Open Series is a free-to-enter weekly tournament series. Just go to compete.playstation.com. All the info you need is there. You sign up. Everything is done through the PS4 console itself. It could not be easier, and we'd love to get you involved because there's plenty of cups to come and plenty of opportunity to make your name in the competitive MK scene via Open Series and the other games as well, if it takes your fancy.
That is going to be all we have time for now, because we're going to be coming back in, because we actually finished earlier than normal, an hour and 45 minutes. We'll be back with North America's monthly finals to see if someone's going to be able to really bring it to Mighty Unjust. We'll find out in due time. Thank you for joining us. Whether this is where you leave and go to bed or whatever, cheers. If you're sticking around, we'll see you then. North America up next after this rather extended break. Take care.
PlayStation.
On February 5th, the PS4 tournaments will be celebrating,
well, you. PlayStation is hosting the FGC Arcade,
a massive celebration for the fighting game community that will feature our top pros
and awesome commentators like me,
like yours truly,
like myself,
and we'll be showcasing a wide variety of fighting games. Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate,
Soul Calibur 6,
Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle,
Under Night In-Birth EXE Late Claire. There will be some intense matchups,
all the top level play you could possibly imagine,
and more.
So make sure that you tune in on February 5th.
See what fighting game shenanigans unfold,
and of course, plenty more to look forward to.
PlayStation.